Gosh darn it.
Oh, you know what? It's not fucking Monday. It's Tuesday.
It
It's
feels
a
like a
Tuesday.
Monday. It
It
feels like a
does.
Monday.
You know what, guys? Bordy just came back from the armpit of, I almost said Canada. We have no armpits. We're all rounded.
Quebec? No, like
Oh, I forgot about Quebec. See, I guess we do have an armpit here. She came back from the Quebec of the States, and you know,
Lord.
we last night just kind of decided to do this, and we're just here. We're vibing. We're gonna talk a little bit about some failed consoles. But Bordy, I know the boys and girls. Dawn! I know the boys and girls miss you. How have you been?
I have been great. Well, okay, I will say it's my Shark Week, so that's
Mine
not
is next
great.
week.
Oh, great! So we're gonna
We're
be
syncing up.
we're gonna. I can't wait. You know, you get two women to do an activity together long enough, and then it becomes
Amethyst is the week after too.
Oh wow! I can't wait until it's gonna align like the moon's aligning, and I think I have a moon on my thing too. So
Yeah.
on my shirt,
Oh,
so it's just gonna align.
you going through it today, baby. Oh my god.
Oh my god, that's why. Like I came here like 10 minutes. Oh my god, 10 minutes before we started, and I was like, "Hugger, I'm supposed to do something with you." And anyway, so I'm sorry. I'm getting that together. I'm getting my life together. I came back from Florida. I went to Universal. Besides seeing Florida things, because there are always Florida things, I went to Universal, and Universal, I was saying, like, there's this weird thing where there are no roller coasters. There are now, or barely any roller coasters. There are now like 40x rides that sometimes have coasters in it and sometimes don't. So a couple of them are cool. Some are off. You would hate the Transformers ride. It was literally like, for me, going up and down, that's cool, but side to side, it's where I'm like,
yeah.
and so yeah, there was a little bit of side to side action. I was like, I don't really like this.
I can do the up and down, the forward and back, but that side to side, it's like, bleh, nope.
Yeah, no, and that fucked me up. The first ride we went on too, it's a shame everybody in the family went on like the first ride, and then everybody was like, man, fuck, like half of the people were like, fuck this shit.
Fuck them rides, exactly.
Fuck them rides. It was a bad first ride, but some of them were cool, like the Harry Potter one, if you ever go.
I've never been to the only rides I've come on is, we have Galaxyland here, and Tim, why you gotta slander Alberta like that? We got Galaxyland. That's where in the 80s the coaster came off the track and like killed a bunch of people.
Oh,
I'm not okay. And we have so like right now in Calgary there's the Stampede, so it's like State Fair, and then it'll be here in ours should be here, Capital X or something, Klondike Days, whatever, here soon. So I'll probably go ride those rides. I like those rides. Give me those like shoddy traveling rides that you could die, but I'm having fun. Give me the zipper. Yeah.
The zipper. What's the zipper? That sounds like a throw machine.
It's similar to the Gok Gok 6000. Anyway, it's a long ride, but you sit in a cart and you're shut the and you're caged into these things, and the cages spin freely. So it's like you hit your head, you're gonna come out with a concussion. You're gonna be dazed by the time you get out, but you're gonna have fun.
Oh my god, that reminds me of the time I went to Coney Island, and I could talk about the whole trauma. Turns out I had a half sister I didn't know about. Anyway, goddamn it. But we went to Coney Island the first time that we met each other, and like there was a Ferris wheel that also did the spinny situation, and like we had sandals that were thrown everywhere, shoes that were thrown everywhere, and it was just like, this is not safe at all.
It's not safe, but that concussion was fun.
It was a great concussion. I remember that time and time again.
Dear God, this is why we can't have nice things. But you know what? No. As millennials, I will take those concussion rides, because the ADHD in me and the Transformer thing. So I do this thing anytime somebody mentions Transformers, I go, ooh, ah, 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 you know the sound. So I would just be like, I would feel bad for anybody who's around me because I'd be doing that the entire time. Just
Especially that long ass line. Like, there be like 5 people behind you, like, will that bitch shut up?
People would pay for me to be in the fast lane because they're just get her out of here.
I love that.
Get her out of here. She needs help. This must be her special day. Oh, what's up, arcade? And it is ABK day today. It is the Activision Blizzard King deal.
Yes, that is. Come on, Diablo. Come on home to Game Pass, please, because I don't want to pay that $70, $100 fee to get it. So please come home for our cheapskates.
$90 for the standard edition here, and everybody's wondering why I don't get it. I was like, $90 when I know Starfield is coming out and on Game Pass? I'd rather play that, thank you. And you know what? Path of Exile 2 is coming out, and Path of Exile 1 is already a nightmare. So
it's not to say like there isn't a shortage of games right now either. Like, so there's Game of the Year, Game of the Week. Every month there's a new potential Game of the Year that's coming out. So hey, I can wait on it. But thank God, because I really wanted to play it sooner rather than later. It didn't price drop yet, which I'm waiting on.
They're not Ubisoft. They're not going to drop it after 2 weeks.
I know that would stop being realistic. I don't need realistic thoughts. I'm over here drinking my dumb bitch juice. Didn't I say that?
I got my dumb bitch juice too.
We dumb bitches together.
You know me, because I know what we doing after this. So yes, we gonna be dumb bitches. Ooh, I forgot to clock out somewhere. That's okay.
Oh.
I'm the chief. I can do what I want.
It's okay. People are gonna be knocking down the doors. You said we were a dumb bitch, but we need you help.
That's why. Sorry, I'm just dumb.
This is why we can't have leaders as dumb bitches, but I will gladly opportunize to be the lead dumb bitch in every single thing that I could. All right. D. Yep. That is a great point. We're gonna get to that best failed console, which is not even. I'm gonna debate about whether or not that's a failed console or not, because that's my baby. I have like 7 I have 7 in the house. We don't have 7, but we have like 3. So we're gonna talk about that. Hey, and I'm gonna explain why I think we have 3, because they were just giving out like hot cakes after a certain point. You're just like, please, like, please take a Dreamcast.
Just take it,
like,
please.
You enter a doorway of any game store and they're like, please, I beg of you, just get this.
$5.
I need
take it. Clear it out, please. Take this.
And they all work. So bad. And they all work. Surprisingly, it was a high quality console that just couldn't.
So,
but
let's hop into the first list and see what's on the list, because you guys know, I'm a list bitch.
List bitch.
I love
Come
list.
on.
Because you know what? Somebody else does the hard work, and then we can have an opinion on it.
No, that shouldn't be number 1. I hate it.
Okay. That's number 1 is not there. Let's start at number 7. The Wii U.
The Wii U.
I've never owned one.
Has anybody owned one?
Nobody that I know. Nobody that I know. Chocolate might have.
Chocolate might have? Okay.
Yeah.
I know exactly one person in my life as well that if it wasn't for the internet, I would know 0 persons in my life that actually owned this device. It's so funny. I remember it being like so hyped. It's so hyped. After the Wii came out, Nintendo needed an HD console, because one thing about the Wii had a great opening. Oh my gosh, like everybody was into it. I remember. So before YouTube and all this different type of stuff that was accessible, right? Back in the day, my games content would come from GameStop. They had a video system, and there was this group of Canadians, shout out to them, these Canadian boys, shout out to Canada land, that went ahead and they did like a whole like diatribe on QuickTime Player on their website where they're like, man, I'm gonna go and buy a Wii. They were waiting in line. They got all the Raymans and everything like that. They got the Wii console and everything. There was a lot of hype around it, of course, too. A shortage immediately because everybody was like, what's the Wii thing? And all the casuals be like, I don't know how to control, but I can hit a ball and we can tennis. Weebleton was a thing, right?
Yeah. Oh my god, yeah. Oh yeah, exactly.
Everybody had a Wii, and some places had like 2 or 3 Wiis, but a lot of people bought the Wii for a novelty. So when it came to like third-party support, it would be wavering. First-party support, of course, Nintendo's always going to put their Natusi into it, right?
The Natusi. All right. Hashtag the Natusi. Next time on their Nintendo Direct, somebody comment the Natusi.
Give me all the Natusi, Nintendo, please. The next Direct. Yeah. Oh yeah.
This is why
all
we can't be left alone.
It's not like we are such a dumb bitch too. Yes, we are. But this is what makes Cogs so great. So great.
It is.
But yeah, they put so much effort into the Natusi and but everybody else was just like, after a while, momentum slowed down. So boom, Wii U on the scene. Maybe we can finally have HD on the console. They like, oh, Zelda is gonna come in. Ooh, that could probably be HD. And it turns out, too, that was kind of a line to later on. But it was like, okay, finally they're gonna take HD seriously, and they have this new gamepad device that's gonna work with things. And it's not to say it's like not the most terrible idea. They would end up using the blueprint for the Switch, and right now the PlayStation is looking at it like, hey, let's make our own Wii U. New Wii U just dropped, right?
All they need to do is make another Vita or another PSP, and I would be so happy. Like, give me another PSP, please.
I love the PSP, and it's not only because I could pirate everything in the world in it so easily.
I don't know what you're talking about. It's not one of the most emulated consoles every time.
Oh my god, it's not to say like I have my iPad right here and we're gonna be sailing the 70s. Ahoy, matey!
Ahoy. But you know what? In your defense on that, a lot of the PSP games are stuck in the PSP, and they can't come out. So you're not sailing the 7 seas, you're just reliving childhood memories. Oh, Master Sith. Oh my god. You know what? Since one of somebody put a list together of the most Rule 34 franchises, and there's several Nintendo franchises on there, and I hate it and love it at the same time.
Which is why, like, I guess because they're so family friendly that makes the deviants want to make it as much as not it anymore, right? Like, my goodness, Samus.
I mean, we grew up with Princess Peach, and she's got to be in her 50s now. She's like Kate Blanchett level of cougar for me. But I'm also not going to be like, Rule 34, Princess Peach. I'll say that for Lara Croft.
I'm saying, if it's like a Rule 34 of anybody in Nintendo land, give me Samus all day. Like, oh my god, Samus,
Bayonetta.
Please. I forget now she's under the Nintendo umbrella. Please put me under her umbrella. Oh yeah.
Grab him by the Natusi.
Grab him by the Natusi. I would love that. You love that too.
I would. Yep. Yep.
She ain't called Princess Peach for no reason either. I just wanted to make that joke.
Yeah.
But like, it was a good idea.
It was a very good idea.
The actual system, but like, honestly, there was not a lot of people who actually utilized the console device. There was not a lot of third-party support, and it was still caught in between because everybody else had been, big boy graphics, and what can we do with it? It's hard to transfer things over. Eventually there would be transfers, like Zombie U ended up being, what is it called? Just Zombie.
Yeah.
right? Just zombie. Uh, and that's the thing. It was a great game. It still held up. Okay, I wanted to know because so much of it initially, that's the big thing that I think of when I think about like a third party actually using the screen.
Mhm.
Um, but in terms of that, like everybody was like caught into a thing of whether or not we could use the screen or not. It still used the Wii remote. People didn't know that it was an actual separate console itself. That's the
Yep.
biggest hurdle. And because there was so much confusion, no one really knew what the Wii U was until it was too late and everybody else had just moved on at that point.
Exactly. And I think with just the runaway success of because for me now, I've never owned, like I said, the Switch is the first Nintendo product I've owned aside from my Game Boy Color. But
that's so crazy to me.
I was a PlayStation kid growing up, and then I got into PC, and I said, y'all can eat it.
I leveled up. Thank you very much.
Exactly.
New console with this, not even console.
Glorious PC master. I make that joke, but I have a glorious keyboard and mouse, so I am glorious master race. Anyway,
I would show you my mouse pad is actually the glorious PC master race, the same Yahtzee situation, but it's actually really fucked up right now. I've had it for years. It's really fucked up right now.
Girl, get you one of them, the new glass ones. I'm gonna get one, and they're really good.
Yeah.
But the Wii, to me now, the Wii is like the retirement home console. Like, grandma's playing the Wii.
Mm-hmm.
Grandma, you know what? You know what I also think the Wii U didn't do is they didn't have the childhood trauma of the Wii, because I remember getting on that balance board on the Wii and it calling me fat when I was 10, and I was like, oh, so this is gonna scar me for life. Okay. And the Wii U never did that.
The introducing to my eating disorder and bad confidence right here.
But I've also heard the Wii U is like one of the best, like, DSS for emulation and like their store and shit, which is kind of made it have a resurgence lately. But I'm also like, play it on PC if you're gonna emulate and go back. Why not?
Yeah, and that's a good thing to know, because I feel especially like I'm getting back into emulation, and I really want to like experience some of these games on the Wii, but of course, like a big part of it too was having CRT with the IR blaster, and those just don't work with HD consoles, right? Or like having the gamepad, like that's something that's really hard to capture, especially with a lot of the way Nintendo's consoles work right now. There's always like, I wouldn't say gimmick attached behind it, but there's always something spicy that it's not like a typical console where I can just get the Pro Controller or gamepad and it's the same.
Girl, you can call it a gimmick. They sold us cardboard. They sold us cardboard and called it Labo and said, here, play the piano, you raggedy bitch.
Oh my God.
Play it with some goddamn cardboard. Here you go. Enjoy. Nintendo, it's a gimmick.
The imagination that in this cardboard that you can have. Stop playing in our faces. Like, you're selling lies to some 6-year-old who is like, oh my gosh, this is like a real shoot 'em up gun or super soaker, blah blah. Bitch, you pour water in it, it's gone. Okay, you lose that in a flood immediately. Okay,
your sweaty hands gonna disintegrate that $40 cardboard.
Right. And it's $40 too, because you know Nintendo don't play about prices. Okay, it's gonna be expensive. All right, the buy-in rate is gonna be like, oh, it's pretty cheap, and then they get you with accessories, peripherals, all of that too. Ain't nobody can make it like they do too. So it's not to say you can get like a Mad Catz Wii or a Mad Catz like thing.
Oh,
is that unlocking more?
Yeah, but that's also why they refuse to fix the Joy-Con drift. You just buy one every 6 months. Unless you're going to go with like a third party like Bing Bonk, but then I bet you they're going to pull an Apple and be like, this doesn't work anymore. Girl,
support
Girl.
just suddenly doesn't. It's locked in the regions and blah blah blah. There's a special code. Bullshit, Nintendo. You know you all about your money, Nintendo, and props to you for that. That's not props to my pocket.
Yeah, no. I need some more Natussi if you're gonna be doing this to me.
Give me all
I
the
need that
Natussi
Natussi.
and then we can talk, all right? It better be hand delivered on a platter, all right? Before we talk about it. Hot, fresh, delivered, wet, moist, all of that.
You had me at wet, you lost me at moist.
I knew. I knew that's why I said soft. So I didn't make you just throw up.
I hate that word so much.
I'll tell it to you later.
Part of me kind of want to get a Wii U. Just for a collector's sake. But I also know the store is now offline. Like, games are out there, but do I really want to spend when the game's already on the Switch? And there's just a paperwork wait there.
All of the best games, people found a way to repurpose it because it was like the lowest performing Nintendo device that's not. Does a Virtual Boy count?
Hold on.
Oh.
I just killed my Evangelion. I think people also forget one of the best selling Zeldas of all time is on the Wii U.
Yes, it started at the Wii U. I forget about that constantly, honestly. Which is why the Sheikah plate, like when you're like moving it around and things like that, that was actually like the Wii U.
Yes.
You were supposed to move around and everything.
Actually, John Wolf just brought up Cemu, which is the emulator for Switch and Wii U. That's how I knew that Breath of the Wild was available first on the Wii U, because that version was available like day 1 or 2 on that emulator. And I'm just like, this is too much work for me to try to do this. And this is also feels like a little too 7CZ. This is like the day after it got released. I'm good. I'm good on that one. I'm good.
I have to give it at least a generation before I feel like morally good about what I'm doing, okay?
I can start the PlayStation 4 stuff now because, well, look how long ago that was. Decade now. A decade.
Yeah. Somebody, I told you this. I told her this probably, I think after we were off camera one of these times. But I was watching a retrospective video and the person was like, yeah, Wii U, a retro console. And I was like,
I hate that. I hate that.
No.
And D, I did not forget about console peasants. My PlayStation 4 is still plugged in. Sounds like a small jet engine. I have my consoles. I've just never owned an Xbox console. Fame is trying to get me to get one, and I refuse. I would rather get a PlayStation 5.
I mean, yes, you might as well. Honestly, it feels like the I will say it's better than the Xbox One, because the Xbox One, I got that and it's a paperweight. Are
you
very
okay?
I got it for free, so I'm not even mad.
Okay,
yeah, that was when I was interviewing with Microsoft, and they're like, a giveaway, and I ended up picking the right number. It was like, oh please, and I used to like 3 times. It's very unfortunate. Very unfortunate. But you know, the 360 was great. The Xbox was starting and trying. The Xbox One, we don't talk about the Xbox One. That's a multi-purpose device, right? That's not a video game console. That's an everything console.
Remember when they wanted... We'll get on to the next one. Remember when they wanted to be always online? And people were like, cool, bet. I'm going to do some weird shit in front of the camera. And they're like, yeah, I guess let's scale back. Or like, was it that year that the Xbox went first and then PlayStation said $3.99 and just, boom, walked off the stage? Like, god damn. That's some balls.
That is some balls. I love the audacity. One day we're gonna do it to like just pure console wars, but that's like a good like mic drop on like some real like boss bitch shit when it comes to the console wars.
That was so good. Oh, but do you have any closing thoughts on the Wii U 2012?
Hey, at least it led way to the Switch. I can say that. One thing Nintendo does, they realize from its mistake. I hope that they never, ever name a console close to the name of the other one. Because that was the whole bad part of the Wii U. But they realized that Nintendo, being as successful of a company as they are, they learn from their mistakes pretty well, and it was a learned lesson. And thank God, because I'm still, for collector's sake, I would love to have one, but for actual real life sake, like, fuck with you. But they know that now.
What am I gonna do with it? So Nintendo, as we go through some of these lists, are going to have a lot more on here than some people are, because Nintendo also saved us. Nintendo is the reason we can enjoy gaming.
Nintendo put a lot of people in the dirt, to be honest.
They did. They really did. There was a Netflix special. I don't know if it's still on there. It's called High Score. It goes through the history of gaming. Go watch it. It is so good. Like how Nintendo saved us, how Nintendo literally funded the industry, got people back on its feet, smothered some competition, but also like kind of steered us to where we are, and how people were like the South Park meme of the guy like clicking playing WoW to a multi-billion-dollar industry that we're celebrating ABK today. We're celebrating a multi-billion-dollar deal with Microsoft, the largest company in the world, because we are all sitting here talking to each other on a Microsoft product. Or maybe you're on a Mac product, but Mac had to branch off from Microsoft.
Yeah, and it's so interesting too. I'm imagining some of these game consoles. Like, we're gonna talk a little bit about how like Nintendo was like a major force and always around, but also too secretly, sneakily around, especially as we go into the '90s consoles. Sony was involved in a lot of different CD peripherals before they branched out into their own, and thank God they did. But they could have attached themselves to a lot of stinkers.
They could have. But look, their first console they ever came out with, and I'll always say this, Final Fantasy VII. Even if you haven't played it, everybody and their mama knows what Final Fantasy VII was, and it was Sony's big Chartussy game. What is the Sony Tussy? Tussy? Sanusi? That sounds like Death by Snoo Snoo.
Hey, I wouldn't mind getting some Sanusi in my life.
Somebody, y'all gonna have to come up some names for these. I need an Xbox name, and I need a PlayStation name, and I need a PC name, but it can't be Patussy, please.
Pussy, like, no, it needs to pussy. I don't know. Does with Xbox, because it's an X, like, does it be a Zussy because of the X? Like, I don't know. We'll figure it out.
Zaddy. So this is a list from What Nerd. They said like Sega Dreamcast, the Nintendo Wii U jumped ahead and came out well before its competition. It did come out before the Xbox One and PS4. The Nintendo Wii U had a unique game controller design that paved the way for some really cool games like the original Super Mario Maker, and even claimed to be able to play already released PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 games. But by launch, it was obvious that Nintendo Wii U wasn't really a next-gen system in the same class. Furthermore, the confusing naming scheme and poor third-party support led to it being one of the worst-selling consoles since the Virtual Boy, which I'm sure will be on one of these lists. It was so bad, in fact, that many suspected that the Nintendo Wii U would be Nintendo's last attempt at a gaming console. I remember that. And then they gave us a Switch.
Hey, sometimes you need an L before you realize, okay.
This is you, because like I said, I've never seen an actual physical Dreamcast, so this is all you, baby.
I would bring it back out if I felt like it. I really don't feel like it, to be honest.
No.
I have like 3 Dreamcasts in my house. You have to believe me. All right, I don't have the proof. I showed you at least one. I have one in our bed. There's like at least 2 in my brother's closet. It's not even talking about my cousin who like inherited like his like friend's Dreamcast, and God, all right. There's a reason for that too, right? But the Sega Dreamcast, and it's interesting because in the 90s, everybody had a console and was trying to topple the giants that were Sega and Nintendo, right? And so much so that like there was an arms race because everybody was talking about, ooh, with my dick out, I got 60 graphics here. I got 16 graphics here. What you gonna do with 16 of these? Blah, blah, blah. Then word on the street. Hey, yo, you got 16. I got 32 for you bitches, right? Oh
Yup.
shit. Oh, 32, right? And that's where like we have disappointments like the Sega CD and all of that going on the CDX where it was just failure and failure and failure. And I don't know if this is going to be, it has to be later on in this. But like there was a whole arms race of like being the first to 32 and then, oh man, you got 32. Well, bitch, I got 64, right?
That jump. That jump.
A jump like a couple years before even the first like Nintendo 64 came out or before the PlayStation 1, right? So like the 3DO and the CDI and the Jaguar, the all the Sega peripherals, right? There were not only the Sega CD, but then also the 32X, and then the Saturn came in. But all of them were failures because Sega was so pressed to be ahead of the game that they didn't get their head in the game. High School Musical.
Nerd.
But wasn't it good? That was good though, right? That was great.
Is that a common question you ask?
Yeah. No, it's not. Actually, wait, hold on.
I'm about to say. Okay.
They already know. I
don't think they're ready to know how much of a freak he truly is, but okay.
I am the purest person on the planet. I have my I have my chastity belt on right now. I've never seen what anything is.
You've never seen the Thermopylae.
Or not. Shut up.
We've never indulged in Lady Dimitrescu. No, never.
Ever in life. I've never seen anybody naked ever, unless it was my own body. And even then I covered up because scandalous.
Clutching your pearls.
Oh my God.
Oh Jesus.
There's a fire and it's not in my underpants. We should burn it right here.
This is why we can't be left alone, y'all.
This is not why we can't. This is why we can't be left alone. This is terrible. But like, have you dead already?
Because I've been sipping on the dumb bitch juice, and I'm like, you know what? I'm a dumb bitch. I know what's going on. It's everybody else that needs to catch up. Dawn, I bet you Dawn is dying over there.
Dawn, go ahead and get some ice, man, my friend. Get some ice, my friend, eh? No, that's Yobi who likes the get some wobbly pops on, yeah?
Yeah, get your wobbly pops. Come on, Don.
But it's the race to 34 and 60, 32 and 64 and 3D fucked Sega over because they kept on making all these add-ons and all the add-ons were a failure. Like the 32X, I believe, only lasted a couple months. That nobody was buying into it. Sonic lost momentum, which is crazy because Sonic was the it girl for their Genesis. That bitch.
She really was.
So they were trying. And it's a shame because this is a nugget I didn't even know until today. Like they had two people making a chipset, one in America and one in Japan. Information leaked out that there was like a chipset that was happening because somebody spilled the beans, and so they basically made the 2K franchise because they couldn't get EA. So like 2K1 and 2K football, like that's all because
shit.
Yeah, that's crazy. I did not know that until today. I was like, oh shit, like that's crazy.
Yo,
there were happy accidents that came out of it, and the launch system, the launch list for the things that came out for the Dreamcast, like you have Power Stone, you have Hydro Thunder, you have like Soul Calibur, which Hydro Thunder and Soul Calibur, like we can talk about this going back to the tech demos, but like actual arcade quality, not like half-assed, but actual arcade quality on your devices. that's not the Neo Geo, which I will also talk about because I'm pretty sure it's also
Probably.
in the list.
Probably.
But like there were great games that came out, but Sega was so cash poor because they kept on trying to release this hardware and one up Nintendo instead of Nintendo taking their time. They ended up basically drying themselves out. There was a point where the Dreamcast, like, in order to get a Dreamcast, you didn't even need to pay money. If you bought Dreamcast online, they would give you it for free because they just
Oof.
wanted somebody to get it.
Oof. Oof.
Take my money, please. Like, I will do anything. But and they're
90s were weird.
it's weird. It was super weird. They wanted people to buy in and hopefully buy the games, but it was so easy to pirate it because there was no piracy system. So like they had a great launch. Sonic Adventure was everywhere. Another tech demo game. Sonic Adventure was everywhere, but they were selling already at a loss with the launch. Piracy, they could barely sell units of actual games. And even though the lineup for the Sega Dreamcast is amazing, so many things: Power Stone, Ready
It's
to
probably
Rumble,
one of
Hydro,
the better
Caliber.
lineups I've ever seen.
And that's why for me, I don't feel like it's a failed console. It's a great console under a failed company.
I was about to ask, because every single person I've ever talked to, what's up, Hustle, that has ever played, been around a Dreamcast is like, fuck all those people that said it was a failure. I love this console. Nobody hates this console now. Like, everybody loves this.
Yeah.
I don't think this is a failure. From what you're saying, I don't think you would call this a failure either. Yes, it sold low numbers, but it's like when people think of retro consoles, PlayStation, Dreamcast, N64 is what most people will say. Yeah.
And for some people, a lot of those are some of the more revered, consoles in people's hearts. I feel like a truly failed console is a console that couldn't move units and also couldn't produce games.
I got one.
Ooh, I can't.
I'm hoping it's on one of these lists, though. If it's not,
we gonna talk about it because I already know what you're talking about. Now that I think about it, I already know what you're gonna talk about, and I got words for that too. But like, Sega was just so cash poor, and they were so pressed to beat Nintendo that they beat themselves. And Slow and Steady ended up winning the race for Nintendo because even though the N64 wasn't as great as some of their other consoles, it was still good and good enough to keep them afloat and to make sure they were good and all of that. And there's a lot of innovation with the N64 in itself. The Dreamcast, there's a lot of innovation in that. I'm still surprised that more memory cards didn't do what the VMU did and to actually integrate mini games onto a virtual memory card, right? Probably because it's expensive.
Very expensive.
It's super expensive, but it's cute, right? Tomodachi. But
it's
a good console.
Cute.
It's a good console.
I think so, and I would love to. I've played the games. The biggest one I can think of off the top of my head is Jet Set Radio and Shenmue is what I've played on the Dreamcast, or like on the Seven Seas Dreamcast, and I can see why people loved it. And it does not look, all of our controllers today are ergonomically designed, and I would love to play it with like a modern controller, which, I mean, people play Dark Souls with a banana, so I think that can be done. But I do want to experience original hardware. No, because I don't want to experience original hardware because was it 360p was like the max?
Yeah.
So I was like, I want at least 720.
It looks good on CRTs, yeah, but of course we've moved far away.
20 years, girl.
Exactly, we've moved away from dinosaur back, right?
This is Sonic Adventure, of course. Sonic on there.
Yeah.
Hustle says, yeah, the Dreamcast used the Naomi board and had the closest thing to arcade perfect games for their ports. Yes.
Yes.
Taxi or Crazy Taxi, that was probably the best port.
The Soul Calibur
Yes.
is a crazy and when we go back to tech demos, we have to give love to that, because if we're not counting the Neo Geo, this was like the closest thing to having like genuine arcade ports on it.
Do you know how hard it is to do an arcade port? Because I've played MAME games, which MAME stands for the Machine Arcade something memory emulator or something like that. Even MAME games on PC is hard to do. So for them to do it like flawlessly.
Yeah, you have to get their specialized chipsets. It has its own hardware. That's why the longest time, like, the Genesis used to be better than the SNES at doing the arcade ports, but even still, it would be nothing compared to like a Neo Geo, which nobody had, or to an actual Dreamcast, which everybody kind of had, because nobody had, but then some people had like 80.
Yes.
I.e. my family. Because they were just giving away like flies.
You guys like paperweights. It's okay.
Hey, it wasn't a paperweight in our hearts. But I wonder if this worth a lot of money. We had the initial Jet Grind radio, so I wonder if it's a lot of money to actually have. For me, it's Jet Grind radio. It's not Jet Set Radio, although I know it is Jet Set Radio. It was supposed to be Jet Set Radio. But I wonder if that's worth money, because we have that original.
Girl, eBay is right in front of you. Check it up.
That is true. Let me see.
She eating. Hustle says it was 2040p or 480i. Oof. Yeah, I need at least some face pixels of what I'm gonna be looking at. But I honestly don't think, from everybody that's talked to, and we've done a Trevor led the episode, may he rest in peace, about the Dreamcast library, and I was like, how did this, I can see how it failed, but like, these games are revered today. These games, this console is that bitch from the old days.
Yeah, I talked a little bit about the whole chipset situation.
Yeah,
but there was like, Sega got sued for another chipset situation that they had with, I think, was Activision or something like that. I forgot the company.
Of course, it was Activision.
Of course, Activision, scoundrels of the earth. The cash port situation from having hardware release time and time again fail, and just like giving money away, selling consoles at a loss. They wanted to recoup that money from game sales, but you could pirate it so easily that, like, okay, well, I can just go ahead and download on the computer and get things, or like I can just burn my friend's version. I'm so mad we didn't burn our first copy of Power Stone, because we ended up losing that due to scratches and everything like that. But it's so easy. It's so easy.
I might be able to get you a copy.
Oh, please.
Yeah.
You
remember? Yeah, after this. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, please do.
What was I gonna? Oh god, the dumb bitch juice is hitting me. You know what? It's a good thing they never made a console again, because look at the Sega games out there today. They make some of the best games out there.
So I was also like looking at, like, because I knew this was gonna come up, and I was like, all right, we knew. I theorized that a lot of the reason why the Sega Dreamcast failed is because the 32X and Sega CD and Sega Saturn, all of that, right? That's a pretty easy conclusion to come against. But I still just wanted to know, like, was there anything deeper? And it turns out I was looking at what's his name, Matt Muscles. He has a good yeah, he has a good thing about Matt is great for retrospectives. And he had a little tidbit about what happened to Sega. So usually when companies fail, they fail completely. Like Atari fell to the wayside. Who's Odyssey? I've never heard of her in years. all of them fell to the wayside. They end up
Yeah.
selling out their itineraries, their peripherals, all the different people and licenses that they had. But
Yeah.
there was a rich guy in a what's his name? There was a rich guy, a rich Japanese guy who basically paid for the debt of Sega right before he died, and then after he died, put part of his like money towards Sega just to make sure that they could be afloat and make that transition from hardware to
See,
software. He's the
that's the
only
billionaire
reason.
I want to be.
You know, save the
Like,
important things, okay?
I don't want to be the billionaire that goes to the Titanic. I want to be the billionaire that saves a game company.
Save the classics, okay? I would have saved. I would have put as much money as I can to make sure that they were still in the hardware business. But there's only so much you can do. So hey, software,
Yeah.
good compromise. You know.
That's like the guy who made Coraline and like made Kubo and the Two Strings. He's a nepo baby, but his dad funds all of his projects because the company, the claymation company, they operate at a loss every time they make a movie. But I'm like, thank God for his dad, because we have cult classics like Coraline and Kubo and the Two Strings. Like,
there are such brilliant pieces of medium that never get a chance because people don't find out about it until it's way too late. And that's a great example of one.
right?
Like, thank God.
Coraline.
Yeah. Adorable, creepy, fun. Being somebody in the animation field, you know better than anyone how hard it is to do half of the things they're doing.
I thought like hand drawing scenes for animation were hard. To learn about claymation and just like the wear and tear that those models go through, and you're literally every day having to fix stuff, and if you lose a model you have to spend 2-3 months refixing it. Yeah, no, I'm good. I'm never getting into that field. But I want to be that person. I've always been a supporter of the arts. Right now, I got no monies to support the arts. Somebody want to my birthday's coming up. Somebody want to sugar daddy me a new PC? I'm kidding, not really. But I want to support the arts, because without the arts, we can't sit here and have these conversations.
No,
it's artistic endeavors that led this. Because you can make as good console as you want, but if you ain't got no God of War to push a console, it doesn't really matter what you doing, baby. The arts fund everything.
As Sega said, like, even if you do have that bitch on all these different games that they had that changed the industry, if you ain't moving, you ain't moving. If you ain't pushing, you ain't pushing. You know?
You ain't.
And it sucks, because it's usually the best games that end up 15 years later. Oh man, Earthbound was so good. It didn't sell no units, but it's still great, and now everyone loves it, you know?
And Fame's favorite game, because it got to bring up Fame. If Microsoft hadn't funded Ninja Theory, I think just for like the sheer experience that Hellblade is, if they didn't fund it, we would have lost that whole franchise. And I think that is probably one of the best, if you are a true gamer that likes like experiences, and we would have lost that. And that's truly an art project. That's what that is for me.
I'm playing through this now. I had to stop because I was playing in the middle of the night, and I was like, "This creeps me out."
It's already combat, and the other voices in my head. I can't do this. This is the voice telling me to jump.
I have ADHD. Like, I already got like a soundtrack going in my mind, but now you want to put an extra layer on it. Like, no. But it's a beautiful, amazing depiction of what it's like to go through like psychosis and the puzzles. I'm a little bit of a dumb bitch, but
no, they're hard. They're like Resident Evil Biohazard, Resident Evil 7 hard. How some of them were like, what am I doing here?
Thank God. I was like, you have to look through the what, so that's why that shit was glowing. Like, even the first puzzle, I felt like a dumb bitch because I was like, oh bitch, I had to turn around. But it's a great series. And again, a lot of these artistic things that are beautiful. Double Fine was about to lose their whole situation if it wasn't for the Humble Bundle, right?
Yes.
So there are a lot of good companies that make art that just can't, and luckily Kickstarting and crowdsourcing has helped a little bit, but there's still so many more that you can point to that just haven't gotten the opportunity.
That's why. What's up, Jamal? Jamal, you were here when Dirt was here. What's up? That's why I'm glad that Bramble the Mountain King has done so well on Game Pass and people are now discovering it, because that game, I didn't think it was gonna come out. I didn't think it was gonna, like, I've been following it for a while and it came out and it did really good. But another game I was looking at that didn't do so good was the System Shock remake. People didn't like it compared to the old one. I was like, okay, I can see that. I can see that.
Yeah. It's very disappointing too, because you build up so much hype too. You're competing with old memories and people, the old feeling. It's a hard thing to live up to your expectations. So it's always disappointing when you can't.
Hot take.
Yeah.
And I know this is gonna piss Hustle off. Just because we have been waiting so long. First, I don't think Beyond Good and Evil 2, when it comes out, is going to be as good as we think. And I don't think this new Perfect Dark is going to be as good as we think it is, because we have those memories, as weird as those original games were, we have those memories of loving them, just like GoldenEye. But I think since they're going to make it like a realistic, grounded kind of thing, we're going to be disappointed with what we get. Visually, we're going to be impressed. Of course, it's the initiative. It's going to be good, but I think story-wise, we're going to be like, the fuck is this? What is this?
What the fuck is going on?
I was trying to do my De Niro there. What the fuck is this? I think that's what it's gonna be.
I give it A. That's good. That's great. It's hard. I'm so glad Resident Evil was able to do well. That for a lot of people, that's better. For me, it's better. That's why it's my game of the year, because it's hard to be. What are you laughing at?
You said Resident Evil. So most people know that the downfall was at 6 and then 7 turned it around. Have you ever heard the theory that the Resident Evil 6 logo is a Metapod giving giraffe neck? For those that don't know, I'm gonna pull it up.
I was about to say, you need to pull it up.
A 6 cover.
Bro,
so and that's right, bitch. I be using goddamn Bing because I'm trying to get my Xbox points. Leave me alone. Okay, tell me that does not look like a Metapod giving giraffe neck. Just gawk 6,000.
It is like, it is holding it too. It's holding the head to like go on the.
And I bet you that's the sound it made. I don't know what sounds giraffes makes when they're doing it, but you know. And there's also Resident Evil Revelations. So this one, there is 2 versions of this. There is Resident Evil Revelations, and there is a misprinting. So if you have the one with the misprinting, it's worth thousands of dollars because it was only like a few prints that got released. But this one,
shut the fuck up. Dallas,
I think Dallas was the one that pointed it out to me the first time, and I was like, you raggedy bitch. Now that you pointed it out, I can never unsee it.
I love dragons. I love giraffes so much. Shut up. Shut up. I know exactly where you're going with that. Shut up.
I wasn't doing shit.
I know exactly where you're going with that. Shut the fuck up.
Oh, Dallas, you're right. I bet you that draft's like, hey, baby, come over here and you want to come do something. Yeah, that draft was... All right, we're going to move on to the next one.
I thought you were going to go,
hey, baby. Hey, baby, come over here. Come over here.
No, but we were... I'm so glad Resident Evil 4... How the fuck we get...
I don't know. We're going back.
You freaky ass mind, because literally we were talking about Resident Evil 4. All you needed was Resident Evil to the. Remember when a giraffe was given
because you were talking about
dick?
we were talking about like it being refreshed and it being saved, and I was like, yeah, remember the game that almost tanked the franchise 6? Because 7 really revived it, let's be honest. And then they brought in the VR, which never play that in VR. That game is nauseating and horrifying.
I imagine too, and Jack is already a lot. Never mind all of that.
The first
stuff.
20 minutes, she chainsaws your hand off. Remember
Yes,
that?
she does. Yes, she does. Lord Jesus, bless Ethan and his soul, because he went through so freaking much. And
y'all wait till we get to Halloween, because I said this last year. I am going to spoil Resident Evil Village and 7 for you guys because they connect together. They're the first Resident Evils that like connect together and then rewrite the old ones. So I'm spoiling everything.
Yeah, and now they're rewriting the story in a way that's cohesive and makes sense, because all the Resident Evil fans love the lore. In fact, I loved Resident Evil before I actually played them, because like I followed a YouTube account of somebody who was all the way into the lore, and I was like, oh my gosh, the lore is actually pretty great. But
good.
some of it didn't make sense before they actually started to make sense.
And now they started with was it the three was 2 or 3 the first remake?
2.
So they started with the 2, and they started to like scoop in the stuff that was missing. But yeah. So the next games, they're gonna be good.
They're gonna be so good. Remake well, guys. Though don't
come on. We need Code Veronica though. I need that.
We do. Especially because it's a good game on paper, good story. Wesker's actually in it, and God knows that Wesker isn't have a lot as much as an impact as he should, even though he has all the impact because he's the head of Umbrella. But it can soft lock very easily, and it's stupid, and I hate that because of it.
Yeah. What do you think is the next one? This is the 6th console, so we've done 2 consoles. Is the Wii U a handheld or is it a console?
It's a console. It's a console.
Because you need the console. That's true. Yeah.
Yeah. I saw something the other day about how Wikipedia classifies like the Switch as an old console and also a handheld, and I'm like, I don't agree with that. But it's this generation, and it's also a console, in my opinion. But I'm gonna go maybe it's
number 5,
the Neo Geo. Maybe we get the Neo Geo. Maybe we get the Neo Geo here, because that's another one that's not as much as a failure in the game department, but it's still a failure in the existence department.
That's true. All right, dun dun dun. The Neo Geo CD. This is the year after I was born in '94.
Yeah, the CD one is interesting. The Neo Geo. And for me, the greatest, like, okay, so D was like, the Dreamcast is the best failed console in all time. I still remain, it's a great console, failed company. The Neo Geo is actually the best failed console of all time. Second most underrated console of all time, because I was talking with somebody and they were like, man, like Neo Geo was straight, but honestly, all of its library was a whole bunch of arcade ports. And I just sat there and I was like,
what's wrong with that
though? What's wrong with that? And bitch, that's the point. Like,
yeah.
We just talked about how hard it is that to emulate the arcade, especially to arcade was its own individual situation and board and chipset and everything that was going on. You're not mass producing it, so you don't have to worry about price, because the Pizza Hut down the street can afford a $2,000 console versus an individual, right? So you can boost up the quality of the sound, of the situation, of the graphics, all of that. This was the very first console that actually, and everyone talks about the Dreamcast, this was the very first console that actually took the arcade and put it in people's hands, so much so that this wasn't mostly in Japanese situations, because it actually sold pretty decently in Japan. Of course, it didn't sell well in America because it was like $85,000.
Yep.
But you could take your memory stick and put it into the arcade machine, and then take that home and then put it back into your console.
That's cool as shit.
It's so freaking cool. That's like the first time we actually had that. I think, well, not the first. No, that was the first time because I think Pokemon Stadium did something like that too. And Pokemon
Yes.
Snapshot.
Yep.
But other than that, like you don't see that a lot. And the Neo Geo, especially when it comes to fighting games, was crazy.
Yep.
It had King of Fighters, all the King of Fighters. It had Samurai Showdown. It had the best version of Pocket Fighter and Fighter. It had was it King of Garu? Wolf of Garu? I forget the name of it.
I know the Garu part. I can't remember the prefix.
Yeah, a Garu game, another SNK fighter game that was crazy. Yep. It for a fighting game person, it was the console, right? But then you also have the Metal Slug series, and
yes.
Which is one of my favorite games. Because it's so funny and cute, but it's hard as shit, and I fucking hate it. Thank God, thank God for cheats, because that's another game where I would not be able to experience it without cheats.
Girl.
God damn it. God damn it.
Girl. Girl. So Amazon has been, if you have Prime, there's an app that they have that you can download, and their app is not like, so on their website, Prime Gaming, they give away like a big game, but on their little app they give away other games. So like they just gave away a shit ton of SNK games, King of Fighters, Virtual Fighter, like a bunch of games. They give away some really good games too, but on their app they'll give away like Assassin's Creed Origins, and like, so they need to blend it together. But download the app and get Prime, and you also, if you get Prime, you'll get, like, if you play Call of Duty, if you play Destiny, if you play League of Legends, you'll get bonuses and stuff from there. But what did they just give away? They just gave something away. I'll have to look it up. There was like an old SNK game, and I'm like, I haven't seen this game ever in years. I thought this game was dead.
Yeah.
They let it go.
And it's a shame too, because SNK did a great job on arcade machines in general, and so that's why it made sense to foyer into the console world, because they had their own great set of games that were amazing. SNK for me, like SNK versus Capcom.
You can hear honking. It's one of my neighbors' alarms is going off.
I love that so much. I love the fact whenever you try to record some shit, some crazy shit always happens.
Last time was lawn mowing. What the fuck?
One of the interview that ended up being really important for me for like esports connections. I was able to like smooth past the fact that my neighbor at 4:00 in the afternoon in summer decided to mow the lawn. Nigga, what the fuck? What are you doing?
Why? Why?
This is so important to me. It's hot.
Go back inside. Go have your sweet tea and shut the fuck up and let me do my shit.
Please.
And you know, I can't close my window because we all hot in this bitch.
and Lord bless you too, because you live in a hot ass place and you guys also don't have air conditioning. Like, that's crazy. I know most of the time it's cold, but still, that's still crazy.
I was about to say, so we're end of July. My God, is somebody stealing their shit? Because that is still going on.
I say you steal it just to make sure you can stop it.
I might go out there and beat somebody. We got, so it's July, August, September. So usually after my birthday, it starts to get cold here. So October, usually we get snow. So yeah, 3-4 months until we get snow. So that's why it's like, people are like, why did you have air conditioning? Girl, it's gonna be cold for literally 7 months. I do not care about air conditioning. I care about heating myself. I can take clothes off. I can have ice cream. Oh, it just stopped.
Yes.
I can have all this stuff.
Take it off.
Dawn,
take it off.
You are the person that I hate. No, actually, you're the person I like, because 9 p.m. I'm usually not doing shit. So Dawn doesn't live far from where I live. Dawn is like maybe you're 3 hours from me, give or take. So Dawn and I are on the same vibe. Like, I like to do either early morning weekend mowing or like, late night, right before the noise ordinance comes in, because you can only make noise till 11 p.m. So I'm like, give it to me.
Look at noise ordinances. I don't live in the hood, but I live where I live. That don't happen. It'll be 3 o'clock in the morning. Somebody in our street with a Dodge Challenger, but boom, boom.
That's the
boom,
thing.
Boom.
We have noise ordinance, but like you'll be asleep in peace. Actually, I don't sleep at 3 a.m. I'll be sitting here playing like Borderlands I've been playing, and you hear the gunshots. You'll hear somebody with their quad ripping down the back. It's like, yeehaw. Somebody's shooting or somebody's being a hillbilly. What is it? In the wintertime, it's the snowmobiles in the back, because I live right next to a green belt, so it's the snowmobile just all the way down. It's like, fuck's sakes.
Right, she lives in the Canadian.
I live in the Canadian hood, which is hey bud, you want to go out, hack a dart and go steal somebody's quad and go drive it down before they notice it's gone? And then if they notice it's gone, you just go, hey bud, I just want to borrow your shit. And they'll go, oh, okay, yeah bud, whatever. That's where I live.
They're like shotgunning and chewing tobacco up there and everything.
Oh, you gotta pack it in your lip. You don't be chewing tobacco. Tobacco. Oh, Don knows. I know where Don lives. He's the quads and dirt bikes ripping down the street, fucking at like 3 in the morning.
It is so interesting because like the same version just in the hood, because they're like, or like in the hood herbs, I would say, like it's like a mix between the hoods, but it's in the suburbs technically. So it's just like dirt bikes and people on 4-wheelers, just a whole gang of people just moving around, and it's just like, man, it's summertime. Thank God, man.
But you know what I like though? Before we move on to the next console, which you're gonna have to guess again because it's number 4. People that be shooting, thank you. People that be ripping their dirt bikes at 3 in the morning, thank you. Because you keep my property taxes low, baby. Thank you. There's no gentrification here, because who wants to be woken up by that?
Oh God, no. I'd rather have hood music all the time. It's like, oh, Thug came out with a new album, please. Versus
play that.
Excuse me, ma'am, do you know that it's 1 minute past the ordinance, and honestly, this is a safe community, and I'm trying to, like, shut the fuck up. I am trying to have a good time, okay?
I was riding my dirt bike out back one time, it was evening time, it wasn't late, and I got a bylaw officer called on me, and I just straight up asked him, I was like, you got nothing better to do there, bud? You got a quota to fill? He's like, well, they called me, so I gotta come. I was like, okay, just give me the ticket and we'll be on our way before I do something bad. It's like, get out of here. Fame!
Damn! What's up, Fame? How you doing? Welcome home. Welcome home. 1, gay dirt bike. 2,
yeah, and
and that's a positive in my book, baby.
No.
And 2, and 2, let's go. Like quotas, like I'm so glad I live in like the blackest not the blackest suburb, the blackest county. I mean the blackest area, honestly, because Atlanta's very black in general.
Yeah, about
so,
to say,
like,
girl. About to say.
Well, I don't have to deal with as much of that shit, because you know they be people who be but as much as that shit, because my God, quotas and all that, like get the fuck away from me from that.
I live in such an area that it's yeehaw, where yeah, people, you can shoot out back and all that. People will call the cops and all that, but at the same time, if there's not people back there, like, so when, you know, we were all dealing with this pastrami sandwich, yeah, we'd see like deer and coyotes on the back there, so it's like, oh, we need people back there to make sure that these coyotes aren't trying to be back here and eat children.
Oh yeah, or dogs, because they were doing that in California too. They were like going crazy. Like you just wake up with a pile of fluff and blood and be like, Max, where are you, Max? My poor doggo Max, no.
Y'all, we will talk about the ABK deal tomorrow, and if you really want Bordy's thoughts, you guys need to butter her up for the rest of the show so she can show up tomorrow, because she a busy lady, so who knows if she can show up.
I am. I'm teaching the kids computer components, and it's so much information to teach them. There's so much with computer components.
But you know what's not a component anymore? The Sega Saturn.
Hey, I'm actually I'm not surprised, but I am surprised that there was this was here. Bordy show up. I be
Butter
teaching
her up.
kids, yo,
Butter her up.
guys. This is something I don't have a video for. If I had a video, I would show up. Hey guys, shut the fuck up. Like you know
Yeah,
me,
she
like you know me, like fuck them kids. No, I love the kids. Fuck 'em.
But no, fuck them kids though.
Hey, sometimes they're no, actually this set is pretty cool. They're not the kids that I couldn't stand when I was teaching elementary school last month. Fuck them.
Girl,
Um,
I used to teach kids all the time. I taught peewees in Taekwondo, so they were 4 to 8. Some of them were the best kids I've ever had working. Like one kid, I felt so bad. She was one of my best students. She broke my nose because I just didn't put my hands up because I didn't think she would. She cried, and I think I scarred her. But I was like, no, like, baby girl, you are doing so good. Like, that was me. You caught me unawares. That was my fault. Like, you did so good. And she. But
she broke your nose.
Oh yeah, she popped me right in the nose. I was like, ooh, that was a good one.
Yeah, I was about to say, oh shit, you great. Like, keep this up. You shouldn't have no shame at all, honestly.
Come on,
Do
Mike Tyson. Give it to me.
Mike Tyson.
But keep buttering Bordy up. If we butter her up, maybe she'll show up tomorrow. But Bordy, you're gonna have to talk about the Saturn because I don't know this, and also I'm gonna break the seal right now. So
see, breaking the seal. Oh my gosh! As
As
soon as you break the seal, it's over. So we're not gonna see.
I know. I'll pee on every hour on the hour.
Yes, I was gonna say 30-minute increments. We're not gonna see. Okay, honestly. I will say with the Sega Saturn, it's something I didn't necessarily even see a lot of, or even people break down a lot of, because you talk about the lead up into it, right? You have Sega trying to do all these peripherals, right? Time and time again with these peripherals. Hey, 16-bit, ooh, I can one up you, Nintendo. We gonna go to 32-bit and we gonna have an attachment with the CD, and then we gonna have an attachment with the 32X. And props to them. Actually going to CD was a smart move in going into the future. It ended up screwing over Nintendo when it came to third parties into the N64 because cartridges be expensive. So a lot of third parties weren't necessarily biting on that, but thank God Nintendo is a powerhouse in its own right when it comes to first parties. The Sega Saturn is so interesting because it says despite what the Atari Jaguar had done a year prior. What's so funny is that we're probably going to see the Jaguar a little bit later on this list. But Sega was not necessarily scared about Nintendo. They were scared about what the Atari Jaguar had cooking. What the Atari Jaguar had cooking. In hindsight, that's hilarious. Of course, Atari, you know, it was great. The original Atari was fantastic, but Atari also had its forays where it would just release all these different things, Lynx and all these different failed consoles. What was it, the Cosmos and things like that. And even just before with the Panther, Atari was not that girl anymore. Tried to present itself as that girl. Atari was not that girl anymore. But Sega was still scared, and my god, they were scared of the wrong person, because they rushed out to sell this Saturn, and the Saturn, despite it having 3D, despite it having Virtua Fighter, despite it having a couple games, it didn't have anything that was worthy of it because the PlayStation would come a year later, and why not just do that? Because they had a much better deal trying to get third parties on board. Sega was still trying to do the CD situation with the old console, with the Sega, the Genesis CD, the Sega CD, and the 32X. They weren't reliable, and because of that, if it wasn't Virtua Fighter, the Saturn didn't have a lot going on with it.
That's a damn shame.
That's what I'm saying. So you didn't hear, but like, so it says in that first time Atari had to be done with the Jaguar, despite what Atari had done with the Jaguar a year before. Sega was not focused on Nintendo at that point. They were scared of what Atari was gonna do with the Jaguar, which knowing what the Jaguar is,
no,
ew,
no. Ew. But this was the hindsight, because nobody took Nintendo serious.
Yeah, and that's the thing too. Yeah, you gotta, after what the NES and the SNES did, you gotta realize that Nintendo was still that bitch, right? And I know you felt like Sega, you were that bitch because the Genesis also did well, but you weren't having a lot of the market that you really wanted to, in America with the Saturn. I believe this has also cost a lot of money as well. It just didn't work out the way that they wanted to. Let me double check to make sure of that, because I could be lying with that.
But it did give us Panzer Dragoon. Panzer Dragoon was... People love Panzer... I've never played Panzer Dragoon, but people love it. They still talk about it.
I do not care about RPGs. I wish I did. I do not.
You don't care about RPG... Girl, we about to go play an RPG after this.
Okay. Turn-based RPGs. If it wasn't Pokemon, if it wasn't Pokemon, if it wasn't Earthbound, all the RPGs in the beginning, like Arcadia and Dragoon, a little Chrono Trigger. Although I think I got a bad pirated version of Chrono Trigger because it like soft lock in a weird place, and I was like, this shouldn't happen. I looked up guys and they were like, no, you should be able to go through fine, and it just didn't work for me.
Okay. You just got. But I'll give you the link so you can go play it, and not the version of Chrono Trigger that they put out a couple years ago. That was also the phone port that they tried to pass off as the PC port. Yeah,
because I've been trying to play that for years. I don't like a lot of older RPGs because random encounters make me want to strangle somebody. You guys can take Final Fantasy VII. I'm gonna play the remake, and I know it's not the same type of game. I'm gonna play the remake. I don't care.
Okay.
But yeah,
that's actually a good point. I don't like older RPGs because, I mean, not that I'm like a super fan of skill trees and stuff today, but they just didn't feel balanced in a way that today's games do. Like, Mass Effect 1 feels vastly different from Mass Effect Andromeda. And that's a 7-year that's a decade difference. 2017, no, 15, I think. It's a very big difference. So it's like, yeah, the original Mass Effect relied on the D&D strats, which was every time you shoot, it rolls a dice. The Legendary Edition got rid of that. So like, you could be dead to rights of somebody and you still could miss if the dice roll wasn't in your favor. I don't like that.
I hate it. I hate it here, Grandpa. I hate it here, Grandpa.
Too goddamn bad. And you know what's too that goddamn bad? We got top 3 coming up. So what's top 3? Let's have a recap. Sega Saturn, the Neo Geo CD, Dreamcast, and the Wii U.
I'm gonna go with the 3DO. It's 3, so 3DO. Let's go.
That'd be 2 on the... Okay, let me see. I'm gonna go with maybe either the Virtual Boy for like an old one, or the weird 3DS that they had that was like the 3D one that nobody liked.
Oh yeah. The original 3DI one, 3DS was really weird to me. It's strange it did so well, because it should not have on paper, in my opinion.
No. Which, well, you know why I did well? Because Chocolate showed me his collection. He has all of them but 2, and he's never played half of them. But he's like, it's for collection's sake.
Bro, that's why people make fun of Nintendo fanboys constantly, right? As someone who I realize now, looking back at it, I'm probably more of a Nintendo fangirl than I even realized. Just because I think Oh, yeah, 'cause oh, definitely more than you.
Yeah.
I
I'm a
I I've
PlayStation
had
fangirl.
which is interesting too because, like, you have a PS3?
I have a PS2, PS3, PlayStation 4. The only ones I don't have is a PS1 and a PS5.
Because I know the PS3 in Canadian land, at least initially, was like $7,822. Like, I just
Yes,
know it
about
was.
800, almost $900. But I did not buy it new. I bought it once
Okay.
I bought it, same thing I did with my PS4. I bought it with my, actually, my PC is resting on the box. I bought it with the Last of Us remaster, so it was already out for
Okay.
a bit.
Okay.
I
That
girl,
wasn't as bad, and that was when the library actually was pretty good because it started off a little
exactly.
sluggish.
I don't
Started off a
got
little
day one
sluggish.
money.
Who got day one money? Please, pointing to me. Girl, we're both stevia mommies out here.
Choc Chocolaka
Yeah?
spent an extra $1,000 to get his PlayStation 5.
He bought it during the pandemic?
He bought it from a scalper.
Oh, poor baby. Poor baby.
He doesn't get no poor baby from me because he was the reason I have the Switch. So he bought me uh 5 or 6 games, a Pro controller, the Switch console itself, sent
Ooh.
it expeditiously so I could get it before Christmas. So that's over
Oh,
$1,000 he spent. And I
that
was like,
is that is a friend right there, Chakalaka. I'm
Chakalaka,
telling
mom.
you.
Yeah, yeah. He spent some
Uh,
money.
I'm sorry. This co-host right here, I can send you a heartfelt gift of all the different times that we've had fun here together on the podcast. I can't do
That's
a
what I
thousand. I can't do $1,000 gifts, man. Those are
girl,
I
I'm about to snatch all your time up because we know what we're doing after this. So I'm
oh, yeah,
snatching all
that's
your
true.
time.
That's true. This is true. We share. This is a quality time gift, not the gifts of, not the gifts of gifts. Gifts.
Yep.
um, but yeah, I just day one money, not for moi. Day one
No.
money, not for moi, not for moi. Stevia
Number
mommy out here, queen.
number 3. Please let me be right about one. No, it's the Atari Jaguar.
What Sega was scared about.
Yes. We've touched about this. It had the ugliest controller I've ever seen. It was their
God.
commercials were funny because they're like 32, no 64.
I love the commercials, bro. Like the console world commercials.
They
Like
were
we talk about
toxic.
Sony's, they were toxically delicious. Though you know what I
Well,
mean.
what was the old saying? Sony do what Nintendo don't.
Yeah,
Like,
Sega does what Nintendo don't. Ooh,
it
I
was Sega.
love
Yep.
it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I loved how vicious they were. And none of them were actually focusing on any of the consoles. It was just basically like, fuck them kitty toys. We're the real boys out here. God. You know?
Exactly. They went for each other's. So we in a previous episode we watched a little bit of some of the. They went for each other's necks. They were so mean.
I, and and you know what's funny? I understand exactly why we had the boring Mexico filter washed out generation with the Xbox 360 and a little bit of the Xbox because everybody was so like hyper masculine,
Mm-hmm.
kitty toys for so long that it soaked up the personality of the games as well.
Yeah.
But like they were still fun back then during that time, and they got a lot of like heavy hitters to go and say like, hey man, fuck this console, I'm over here playing with my Atari Jaguar.
Yep. Well, I'm reading as
Atari
was
Jaguar.
the Atari Jaguar only had 50 licensed game in its entire lifespan. 50 games. And I bet you most of those were Atari games.
Yeah, they were.
Damn.
It sucked because like they had the two, it says the two processors, the Tom and Jerry, but they only used one because one was more familiar with them, the Motorola one. um
They did use
and
Motorola chips. I forgot about that.
and because a lot of other people use that, and so it's just like,
Mm-hmm.
I know that one. There was no documentation for third parties to utilize, and so it was just like, oh, well, I mean,
Yeah,
we got a
might as
couple
well.
games, and that's about it. Like,
Yeah. Yep. Damn, Atari. I don't really got. If you guys want to watch good retrospectives, Scott the Waz, great. Matt, that Bordy brought up, LGR Lazy Game Reviews, another
yeah,
great
he actually
person,
had one on the Saturn or something. One of them, yeah.
because they like we glaze over these because we honestly don't know, and honestly, if we were to deep dive into this, this would not be a live video. This would be we would do a joint retrospective kind of thing, but maybe one day we'll do that. But right now, we're just gonna glaze over some of them because we got 3 more lists, but I think we're gonna blend in on some of them. Some of them are gonna get close
Also,
together.
you have to watch AVGN because
Yes.
he shat in the Atari Jaguar.
Mhm.
He shat in the Atari Jaguar, which is
How could I forget the king,
great.
AVGN?
Oh man, he was the first actually gaming media that I saw. So he introduced me to YouTube. I think the very first thing I saw on YouTube was a Tekken trailer, and
Yep.
AVGN was the first like series.
You know what? I may have watched a lot of things and been on YouTube for a lot of time, but you know what I never did? Watch this Shane Johnson or Colleen Ballinger video. Anyway, let's move on to number 2. Number 2 has got to be something modern because the only new system we've had is the Wii U. So it's got to be something modern. Shut the fuck up. Let's see. Oh, the Neo Geo, the AES, which was... That
doesn't count.
Yeah, that doesn't. Okay, we're gonna scrap that one. What's number 1? What can number 1 be?
If it's not gonna, if the 3.0 isn't involved, and a lot of these lists don't even talk about the 3.0, it has to be the Philips CDI, because that, for me, that's the most infamous one where Didangos and
yeah, I won.
I won. My boy.
My boy. Yeah. Okay, let's see. Oh, the
turbo graphics. Ah, man.
This is the oldest system.
So it's funny how, like, in the 90s, everybody and their mom was trying to topple over Sony and Nintendo. Like, the TurboGrafx was early in trying to beat them with the 16-bit era and trying to get ahead of the game with the 16-bit era, but of course it wasn't actually what they wanted it to do. So if you're coming out late and you're claiming that you're one thing and you're not, and also you can't get third parties because you're not as powerful as the things that are about to come out, but you're also late to the scene, then you're going to end up failing. And that's exactly what happened to the TurboGrafx. It's a truly failed console in its own right, because there's no games. It's sold terribly, and if you can't sell in either Japan or America, you're gone. It's a wrap. It's a wrap.
And you know what? I think a lot of these, we can quantify them as failures today. Most of these, even the Wii U, because that was before like Twitter was really popping. Because last week when we did 2XP, it was something PlayStation had said, and Xbox hadn't even said anything, or it was we had dirt on, and people were saying that people were paid off by Xbox. I was like, this is free advertising for Xbox. This keeps people's Xbox in people's mouths. Like the advertising back then had to be printed. It would have to be an expensive commercial. It would have to be all this. But here it's just like, oh, Xbox might be paying this person, and the world is talking about it.
And you know, your representation, your reputation precedes you. So like that's why it's kind of an anomaly for things. Well, not necessarily anomaly just because they went about poor business practices, but like Atari and Sega failing, like that's mainly because they did terrible things. TurboGrafx a lot of these new entities, Panasonic getting into the game, Philips getting into the game, like a lot of them, they didn't have like an established base, so they had
Yep.
to depend on these trade shows to sell it off, or talking up a good game with all these other publishers. And it's hard to bring people onto your console and bring games, especially if you don't have a standardized way of doing things, or you're trying to revolutionize
Yes.
things, because it's hard. The architecture is different, the library is different, and
And we
it's
still
hard
have
to
that.
establish itself.
Like, that
Yeah,
is still a thing. Oh,
yeah.
it wasn't mentioned, but we might see it in this list from the gamer. The Ouya, the Stadia. Like, the Stadia was supposed to be that thing. Amazon has they're not launching a console, but they're launching their
Luna,
platform.
fuck that.
So
I hate them.
they're
Um,
it's gonna be bad. We're not out of this, and you know what? It's gonna be every generation. We're gonna experience these new things where these bitches are going to try to make it their own. But Amazon
yeah.
has more money than God, and they've had 2 games already fail on them. New World looks like it might fail soon. Lost Ark has its backing behind it because it's a Korean studio and it's already been running for a decade.
Mhm.
Like, Stadia is gone. I don't know.
I am praying for the downfall. Like, I am R.I.P. Bozo in my suit, waiting for my greatest hater's funeral for the Amazon device. Because I'll go to the diatribe when we talk about like consoles, uh, what are cloud-based consoles? Because
Oh,
I feel like the concept is also, it's a little bit shoddy right now. The moment that we are right now, it's forward thinking, but way too forward thinking.
yeah. I feel bad for all those
But
people that bought Stadia games like Assassin's Creed and all them, and they can't redeem them or play them anymore.
on live, Ouya, like, all of
Blech.
those, but when it comes to Amazon, I just don't trust them in business practices in general, and
Hell
them
no.
being a big company. I just hope, I wish for their downfall very much. I don't want you to get into the game, because they're going to be Activision hardware
Yeah.
division, and I don't need that.
Yep. I just bought my dad his birthday gift, and I don't even know if Amazon's gonna deliver it on time. And his birthday's is on the 23rd, and I just ordered it today. So I'm like, is it gonna come? I don't know. I trust you, Amazon, because
I'm
also
gonna stab
Amazon has
somebody if it's not.
they have that big ass lawsuit coming against them against Prime members, and I've been a Prime member for like 2 years, so I'm trying to get
Ooh,
some
there's a
money.
lawsuit? Girly, let
They
me know.
So they were, as a Prime member, if you watched their movies and shit, they were subscribing you to services even if you didn't subscribe to their services. And then they were claiming benefits of Prime. So like 1-day shipping, 2-day shipping, but they wouldn't deliver on it. So
No,
there's a
they
class
wouldn't
action
ever.
lawsuit. You should look into it. There's people are
Yeah.
might be entitled to a hefty sum.
Yeah, no, because we account share around here, because ain't nobody doing one. Like, my sister plays for the Netflix, I play for the Spotify and
Mm-hmm.
something else too, then Hulu, and my mom
Mm-hmm.
plays for the Prime. But I know she's not the type to actually like look through her
Yeah.
things and to look through her bank statements. So I'm gonna need to do some investigating. Okay.
She should, because yeah, there's I don't know where to sign up, and I don't know if it's at the sign up stages, but Amazon messed up. They really messed up, but they always
Fuck
do,
'em.
and they don't care.
Well, they don't care, because I don't fucking trust them. And they doing some fuckery with Twitch. You like, oh, fuck them. Anyway, fuck them.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
So this article of 2017, and they straight up say Nintendo pops up on this list more than you expect, and it starts with 2 Nintendo consoles. So I don't know what is going to be the start of this, and it's going to be the Ouya!
Your favorite.
You know what? This could have been a good idea because it was an Android-based platform. It's a Raspberry Pi.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it is. It could have been great. But they put in a lot of games that were pay to win. There's like 2 or 3 games that were really good that are now starting to make their way off of the Ouya because they have the exclusivity contract still. And there's a lot of freemium games. It could have been great, but it was very much what I equate to it is Hello Games. It's like, is it multiplayer? Yeah. That's what I equate it to.
Sure.
Yeah, sure. It could have been good.
Wink.
It's a Raspberry Pi machine. That's what it is.
it could have been a bad bitch, you know,
Mm-hmm.
people in nations that aren't as, you know, developed. The whole thing with like mobile
But that's the
gaming,
thing.
cloud-based
It,
gaming.
yes, exactly. Cloud-based gaming. But that's the thing. It couldn't even been for people in developing areas, or even like we've talked about, people in America that still literally use dial-up, because most of these games were always online, or you needed a good internet to download them, because the system itself did not have like unlimited download like a PC does or like an Xbox does. So you had to have a good internet to download shit from this. And that's with the free trial. Not even a full game.
And it baffles my mind because, like, for instance, I live in a moderately, like, not even moderately, I live 20 minutes out of one of the biggest cities in America. And for me, 10 years ago, there was only one company that had internet speeds that were above 30 megabytes. And just recently we got fiber, right? I wanted to do Twitch ever since, but we only just now recently got gigabyte internet. And the way that contracts work with internet service providers in America, yeah, there's only it's like territory, it's like gangs, honestly, where there's only certain sets that can go in these areas.
Fame is like, Spectrum has a gun to my head because there's one other provider and they suck more than them. Oh, I understand it. Okay.
And I'm betting that provider is only like 2 megabytes per. And like it's especially worse in like Texas, because there's like Time Warner or Spectrum, and that's it. But like I live in a populated area, and like in north of my county, you know, where all of, you know, the gentrifiers, rich white people and all of them, they can go, they have fiber and they had Google Fiber and they had all access to that. For me, until AT&T just recently put it, like, I couldn't get any type of actual internet to stream and do half of the shit that I do now. And that's not even thinking about people outside of this. I'm in a populated area. There are people in America who are living out in the boonies, and of course they don't have that internet. And it's interesting to me because if you're poor or you're strapped for cash, it would be more affordable to do a one set purchase for a big console where I can't afford internet versus monthly paying for a service that's like $60-$70, right? So the whole concept of these consoles don't make sense to me.
It does not.
They don't.
Because the Ouya is online. My Amelia, she just got fiber maybe a month ago. But like she was struggling. So I have a lot of headaches in the city. But that's because my shit is also like approaching 9 years old, so I need to update. But my internet is good, it's solid. Her shit is really good, but her internet was shit, and it was cheaper for her to get fiber and like be the first person in her town, because she lives in a town, not a city, to get fiber than it was to get new hardware to hopefully fix it. I'm like, that is wild to me.
Yeah, no, I would pray. I would look at Google Fiber. Like Google Fiber actually like went as far as close to like a couple streets, a couple like 2 miles down, 3 miles down, but didn't get to my area. But I would like search constantly. Please come to my city. Please come to my block. Please come, because it's so weird. The rights are so weird, especially in America, and that's in America. That's not talking about, you know, places in rural areas. There are a lot of rural areas in Canada land, right? There are lots of rural areas in Brazil, or like, you know, Guyana, where our family's from. Like there's a whole bunch of places in the Caribbean. It's something that sounds lucrative and nice to say, oh, I only need to pay $10 a month to have all these access to all these cloud games. But at the end of the day, you need the internet to afford it, and it's much cheaper to just pay up the money up front than to pay for this service, and on top of this to pay for the internet that you might not have access to. It is a very Western idea, and it only or certain places in the East idea. And the people who can afford it already have the means to upgrade their console to get to a console in the first place. So the whole concept of cloud-based gaming, it doesn't make sense to me. But like it was hyped up. Everybody wanted like a Ouya on live was crazy hyped up, right? It sounded like such a great idea, but the actual implementation of it, we're not at that point yet when it comes to the internet. That's why I'm 10 toes down against people removing physical games, because there are people who just they don't have the means for it. And if we were to go and approach cloud-based gaming, the people who are able to actually afford that are not the market of people that they're trying to sell to.
Exactly. 100%. I'm with you. I mean, look at us right now. We're sitting talking about failed consoles, failed tech. What's happening in Russia?
They can't even access anything, bro. They got the embargo. They can't access shit.
There's so many other problems in the world that we are very privileged to sit here and talk about it. And we're also going to fight for people to have this shit. But the Ouya was never, and the way that the CEO, and I can't remember her name, she was arrogant about a lot of stuff. She was, to me, what Cliff Bleszinski was when he was bringing Lawbreakers out. It's like, we're going to take down Overwatch. You're not going to play CSGO. Fuck Call of Duty. It's like, no.
Put it on the table. And actually, it's like this small.
You can play Call of Duty because their servers are big enough to accommodate people that don't have good shit. And they'll put you in a room with other people that don't have good shit.
Level playing field.
Exactly. And Arcade says he wanted a Ouya at some point. I think we all wanted Ouya just to see what it was.
They talked it up. They sold a great game on live. Ouya. Stadia, right? Because Google is the king of, oh my god, this sounds like a good idea. 3 years later, I don't want to play with you anymore, and they just drop you like Woody. Like Google Fiverr made
a great point though with Google, and he's like, I think that's why they brought Stadia. How else is Google the #1 search engine, the #1 thing we all use? How are they supposed to advertise? How are they supposed to be in the news cycle? Bring this thing in that says Google, because it says Google Stadia. Google Stadia. It's always talking about Google Stadia. How are they supposed to advertise? Even if it fails, there's like 200 programs that they've brought in that have failed. How else are they supposed to advertise? Watch them bring in something stupid. Like there's probably going to be a VR thing or an AR thing coming soon from them. How else are they supposed to advertise?
The Google Lens. The Google HoloLens.
Exactly, the Google Lens. That was valuable tech that is actually used a lot in today's applications. But how else is Google supposed to advertise? Because we all use Google, we know Google, but they need to advertise to people that are just now coming onto the internet. And they're gonna be like flooded with Google News. How else are they supposed to advertise?
Hey, it's not to say like they don't already fudge up the search results though. Like they don't be like, like let's prioritize this. Maybe the YouTube algorithm just speaks to Stadia a little bit more. I'm surprised they didn't do that, because that's something that Zuck would do on Facebook. Elon Musk for damn sure would do with Twitter.
I've been staying off of Twitter because once he said I need to, he's thinking about, I need to pay to view stuff. I was like, nope. I already don't use Twitter a whole lot like that, but like that was like, no.
I ain't paying for shit. It's crazy. I've started using Tumblr a lot more.
Girl, I stayed on Tumblr. Everybody left. I was like, the best fan fiction is on here. Anyway, let's move on to the next one because I know where we're gonna go if we go on that.
Paradise. Yeah, that's right. Shipper's Paradise. We love it.
Ooh, Commodore. For those that don't know, the Commodore 64 was the reason we have PCs today, and they tried to have an individual game console that was not PC based. It did not work out. This is the only one I've ever seen like in pictures and ever, because I've heard about it in the myths. I'm part of like Commodore 64 clubs and all that because I love the old games. I played on my channel, The Floor Hugger, I played The Never Ending Story, it's Commodore game and all that. This is like a myth there's maybe 100 that are still working in the real world. They had the Great Gianna Sisters, which was the Mario clone. They had Donald Duck. They had anything that could be found on the Commodore 64 was found on here, but it was just way too expensive to mass produce this on its own. Because if you have a PC, then you can use it for other things. But if you have a standalone console, then it's only for that. And this was at the time that Nintendo hadn't yet said, "Stop being bitches. We're gonna save you." So this was like right before the crash, or right after the crash. But people still weren't taking it seriously.
And Nintendo saves video games image because during this time video games were just looked at as another toy, like a Barbie, like a freaking what's another, a Transformers, right? Like I can buy this doll at the store and it can be really neat, but like or I can buy this Tickle Me Elmo, and Tickle Me Elmos are really expensive, blah blah blah, but am I gonna spend like $785,000 on another app toy? Like, it's not an experience. It's just a normal toy. So people weren't gonna spend all that bread on it. And again, great games can mean a lot, but as we've seen with the other consoles that we talked about, great games can only carry you so far if you cost so much damn money, right?
And there's a guy I watch, Adrian's Basement. He refurbishes old computers, and we're coming to the point now. So like most of the Commodore systems are 40 years old. The chips that are in this, you're not gonna find these anymore. So once they shit out, you can never fix these consoles. They are gone forever. Like, we have the Motorola chips, we have the Mitsubishi chips in some platforms. They can be fixed, they can be changed, or like there's reproductions. These, once they shit out, they're gone forever and you can never fix them. And don't forget, also a lot of these old cartridges had all these chips inside them as well. They had CMOS chips, they had stuff, but most people didn't take the batteries out, so they are corroded beyond repair.
Yeah.
So like once these are gone, they're gone and they're never coming back.
And I know it hurts people like you and me's heart so much to think about that, because gaming is a relatively like young foyer. It's not to say like this is like 200 years old where like, you know, things are lost in floods or like political events where there's like a mass wiping and things like that. Like, it's just time that's really done the unfortunate things with these. It's literally just time. It's not even that much amount of time either. Like, people that we know who are cognizant here and still going have been around when these things first came out. So it's really sad and scary that, like, you know, even like not only as historians, but like you said, you've opened up consoles before, right? So you've seen the inside of things. Have you ever done like a refurbishing of any like consoles or something like that, or at least circuitry?
I've had to reflood. I've had to put a circuit board for an old, what's it, NES into a. I have a special convection oven to reflood all the solder, because I was like, I hope that fixed it, but it was a cracked chip and I couldn't fix it. It's like, okay.
Nerd.
Shut up.
But no, I'm actually getting into like I actually like I've soldered some things before and everything like that. I used to be computer science.
You're the programming side. I am the physical side. I will fix it. I will take the chips out. I will do that, but I cannot program it once it's back in position. It's not me.
Once it's back in position. It's funny because I really enjoyed hardware a lot more than I like both sides of the coin, but I was in a software course, so I could barely touch hardware as much as I want to. But now I'm looking at soldering videos or like refurbishing videos of consoles. I'm gonna annoy you a lot more. I just wanted you to know that about fixing things, because
there's also that game when we were watching. It was either the Summer Game Fest or it was one of the indie shows that was where they were putting shits in. I can't remember the name of that game, but we need to figure that out.
Yeah, we do, because I forget some of my circuitry lessons. I remember, like, and OR gates, and I remember series and all of these a little bit, but not as much as I should for me to, like, open up, because I still need to fix my USB port for my microphone, and I might as well do it for my whole Yeti too, so,
Yeah, you
um,
should. You should.
yeah, this is $200, girl, I'm not letting this fall to the wayside. All you need to do is zip, and it's back. I know it ain't a lot, but I also need to fix
It
some
is a lot.
headphones that I have.
Oh, I just saw both titles. We're gonna skip past the Saturn. We talked about that and the
Yeah.
Dreamcast.
Yeah. Look at that.
Virtual
Sexy.
Boy.
It's funny because with mobile games, it's its own. Like, we could sit here for hours talking about failed mobile games,
Oh yeah.
but the Virtual Boy is a weird spot because it is a mobile game, but this shit is not a mobile game. Like, this
You
is
know
not a
what? All
mobile
they needed
console.
to do? Put a head strap on it, and it would have been fine.
Yeah,
That's all they
yeah.
needed to do.
It literally that's a huge quality of life thing where, you know,
'Cause
we
you
were
were
talking
like
about. And you have to
this the
stay
entire
there.
time. Yeah.
Like,
That's. Ooh, my shoulders. I felt that. Ooh,
my
immediately.
neck can
My
only
back.
do that much. Come on
My
now.
tussie
Uh,
and my crack.
my Nitasi and my
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And guess what? I can pop my pussy like this. I cannot pop my neck like that. Nintendo,
Are you mad because
okay?
my pussy pops severely and yours don't?
I forgot about that.
You know what?
I would like.
We're drinking our dumb bitch juice, but so when I flew to San Francisco, they had one of these. So in the San Francisco airport, as a new flight, you're coming in, they had one of these on there, and I was like, how thick is that glass? Because I kind of want to punch it out and steal it. Like, I know this is a headache machine. It's red and black. It's awful for your spine. It's awful for your eyes. But I kind of want to play it.
My friend went to Japan and he went to a retro store and they had a display and he didn't stick his eyes into it. I'm like, what the fuck are you like, bro? Like, and he likes
Why
old
wouldn't
shit
you?
too. Why wouldn't you just try? It's not to say like you're gonna be there for like 20 minutes. It's like beyond 20 minutes. That's where you really start to like throw up and
Yeah.
disgustingness. But like, the novelty of seeing a Virtual Boy, just like I feel like in the Wii U, a couple of years from now, we're not going to see anybody really having it. A Virtual Boy is one of those where nobody fucking has this shit. So I would love to see it.
Yeah. I want to see it. I want to play it. I want to be one of those few people left in the world to say, yeah, I've played this.
Like, yo, I have seen a Virtual Boy. I've touched a Virtual Boy. I have played it. And, you know, the controller led way for, you know, not the GameCube controller and the N64 controller is actually a pretty decent controller because it tried to do the whole dual view situation, the dual pad situation. Sticks is where we ended up going, but at least try to do it with the dual D-pads. It is an interesting console that of course, nobody has and nobody really wants to have because, of course, the library was so small. What was it? Like, the tennis game is usually one of the few things I think about when it comes to it. But it's just a novelty at this point, and it's a cool gaming collecting novelty.
And it's one of those ones. I see it in today's tech, like the controller, like you said, but the VR headsets we have, this is what it was. This is you enjoy your VR headset. Here it is,
Oculus, like, baby.
Exactly, Oculus, Vive, Quest. Like, this is what it is. All right, number 10. What could be number 10? Oh, the 3DO. Yep.
Pause. But it did say some gamers like to rectify it with duct tape.
Yeah.
We're
gonna talk about that. We're gonna give the Virtual Boy its respect, okay? Woman,
man, no, fuck that.
So for everybody here, she's choking. The 3DO, the Philips CDI. This was at the same time. So like, I am one of those old bitches that I like to collect stuff. Like, I have several times talked about one of my prized collections My prize collections is here. It's the Sekiro vinyl, three disc vinyl. I want it. It's a limited edition. It came all the way from the UK. I like put my name in on a chance because I'm like, I never win shit. So this is from like the same era where laser discs were coming from, because I have RoboCop on laserdisc. I have Serafina, which is the Whoopi Goldberg movie. I have Jurassic Park, which that movie scared me. I have Twister. Like, this is the Philips is from all that same era where they didn't know if they wanted to be an 8-track, a Betamax, a laserdisc, a CD, which is very expensive, cassettes. Yeah. That's from the my girl is dying, so we're just gonna keep.
I'm here. The costs were me being impressed by your collection. If your collection, in my collection, in my world, like touched peens, it would be like an ultimate collection of gaming knowledge.
The only the only records I'm super proud of that I have is the Sekiro ones. I have both Red Dead tracks because nobody bought them. I have both Assassin's Creed Valhalla tracks, and I have a limited edition Camila Cabello, like 200 of 400 tracks.
Camila Cabello.
Her first album.
I wouldn't peg you as Camila Cabello fan. That's interesting.
When she first left, before all the bullshit came out of her saying that shit to Normani, I was like in her corner, so I bought it. So I was like, yeah. And then she came out that she was like, you know, whatever with the Normani, and I was like, Normani, I need you to drop your album, bitch, because I need to buy it.
And then she fucked it up like Whoopsie Daisy, you know? Fucking it up like Whoopsie.
I think she's in a hostage situation with her goddamn label. I honestly think that.
Oh man, her and Kesha, man, free Kesha, man, because
free Kesha, free Normani. I know Cardi B does not want to do shit no more, so we don't need to free her.
It's been like 522 days since the invasion of Cardi B, and that was all bangers. All bangers.
For like 5 solid years, she was making bangers. Bodak Yellow.
Oh, if you wanted to, it's expensive. These red bottoms. These
I
bloody
like it
shoes.
like that. Yeah.
Oh man, I went to the Dominican Republic during that time, and it was crazy. The amount of ash throwing I was doing on all of those guys in that resort, crazy. Like, what's up, Yobi? How you doing, Yobi?
Let me also point out, Yobi, he has a special phoenix next to his name, not just because he's a mod, because Yobi is our first ever member on this channel. That's right, we can have the members shit. Yobi signed up. Yobi is our baby. Yobi is my baby. Fame is gonna fight me on that, but I said Yobi is my baby. You cannot have him. You cannot claim him. Yobi is my baby. So yeah, Yobi, you're mine. If they try to claim you, I'll drop the mommy voice on you. So
we love it. We love to see it.
Oh, nah, Bordy coming in as a member. She was all here quiet and shit. I knew what you would do. Okay,
can I get the mommy voice now? No, I'm just kidding.
Hold on. I want to welcome Bordy McBoard to the Lv1 Gaming family as our second ever member. She's such a good girl for me.
Oh, don't call me good. I can do bad things.
You're good. See? You think you can do bad things, but I can do worse, baby girl. And you know what's worse? This goddamn 3DO.
Let's talk about her, because that's a bad girl right there.
She's so chunky. Look at it. She's so thick, but not in a good... Let me bring up this picture.
Not in a good way.
She has an open close button and a power button. And what is that controller? That reminds me of the old Sega controller. Oh, no. I have to pee. I have to pee.
Was it the controller that did it for you? Did that make you like...
You know, it was you becoming a member, you nerd. I gotta pee. Give me a second. Bordy, carry this.
Okay. So it's interesting because the 3DO was a really stupid device in the first place. this is something that actually got a lot of freaking hype. I love you guys. Oh, I'm gonna save that for her, Yobi, because I know she's gonna want to say that out loud. What it up, though? We both out here membering out, Yobi. Let us. It's a member high five. Fives only, because we both given the 5 to Lv1, baby. But the 3DO was an interesting console, hyped up. Again, that 90s race where everybody was like, boom, let me go ahead and let me get my own console. Boom, let me go ahead and get my own console. Everybody wanted to throw Sega and throw Nintendo off their throne. So the 3DO came along and the 3DO said, yo, CDs are the wave. CDs are the future. I'm going to go ahead, put my CD game on. Again, a funny thing that almost happened in the development of the 3DO is that everyone talks about Nintendo and Sony almost joining as a unit. People always forget about the 3DO actually almost being sponsored in part by Sony, and that being the major licenser for the 3DO, the sole licenser, which would have been gross.
Yes.
Or maybe actually, well, then it would be very expensive. Because a big thing with this was not only the lack of games, because this is another game, lack of games, but then it was also very expensive too. But I love those faces so much. But I love you, fam, so much. But because of the way that the licensing worked for this, everybody had their own version. Gold Star had a version, Panasonic had a version, Sanyo had a version. It's stupid how many different versions there were of this, and the licensing never made sense in the first place. So that was a thing that came in and messed it up. But then also what messed it up too is just a lack of games. People didn't know what direction it was going in. This was stuck in between of the Jaguar and the seat in the Saturn, and of course the Genesis and the Nintendo 64. So I'm gonna attach myself to the labels that make sense versus to the 3DO. And because there are all these manufacturing, because pirating was so easy, because all you needed to do was put $3 towards, the publisher for you to have a game. Honestly, this was a great device for porn games. For real games, not that much.
Yeah, you're not wrong there. And we do need some Bordy and Hugger emotes, and Bordy is now the newest member of the channel because she's that bitch. But the 3DO, I think people also mix this up with the CDI. I don't know how, because very different acronyms, but whatever. This was just like, this was not it. It was not it.
No.
But that's okay, because we're here talking about it. I can't remember one goddamn game from this, though. Every other system I've been able to remember, like, at least one game. This...
I literally had to look it up to remember the game, because I was like, God damn it. Like, I remember it being a failed console, and it's so funny because there are bombastic failures that we remember, right? That are just like funny. Bombastic failures. Like the Dangos. Or, you won. Like, we remember those because those are funny. But it's so hard to remember a game for this. One of the games, God, all of them are just so insignificant. Like, literally
Yobi,
all of them are so
you belong to me. Yeah.
40.
Yeah. I did promise you the last dance. You belong to me because you're my good boy. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Even you saying that.
Don't get this woman started. Right now is Shark Week. We cannot tell her. Cannot get her started.
Shark Week will make me feral.
XD.
Plumbers don't wear ties was on this. This is what that... This is a console that was known. It wasn't as known as like the Saturn or the Sega CD as having like the full stop motion games. Like, what's the one that got in trouble with the ESRB where you're like helping a girl escape a whole bunch of robbers?
Night Trap.
What's that girl?
Night Trap.
Yes.
Watch out behind you, Night Trap. Yep. That was I can't remember the original system, but it had its 25th anniversary recently.
Oh, really? Did it?
Recently. It could have been like, it could have been, we could be on the 30th anniversary. I don't know. Hold on. Let's see when Night Trap came out.
I fucking hate that. Oh yeah, 30 likes. Please go ahead, share the stream out, please. Talk to your friends. Tell them the sexy bitches that are known as the floor hugger and Bordy McBoard are on here.
Night Trap came out in 92. Yep.
If you're extra special,
Sega
floor hugger will go ahead and bring out the mommy voice too.
Oh yeah.
It was a Sega CD.
Yeah.
What was the Sega CD?
It was this in partnership with Mortal Kombat. So this was like Mortal Kombat came from the gratuitous violence. This came from the people could be stalking our children or use this as a way to stalk our children. And also don't forget 92, 93, people were using video games a lot to blame shit. So 93, was it 93 or 94 was when Columbine happened. So people were using video games to blame that. But that was not the case. That was just some mentally disturbed individuals decided to do some shit, and the media that had an agenda to push decided to use these games as the trap. But Night Trap is hard because it's all happening at the same time. It's a movie playing out, and you have to like know where you're going. So I recommend, unless you have a walkthrough, do not play this game. It is hard. I tried it and I was like, no. I got to the Night Trap, watch out behind you, Night Trap song, and I was like, I'm good. I hit my peak because this game is hard. It's the same vein of like Phasmophobia and Night Stalker and The Ripper. Like, they're the FMV games, which Fame loves FMV games. So if you guys ever find new FMV games, send them to him.
Oh, Fame. I have something. I'm gonna actually send it to the Lv1 Twitch. There's this girl called Molly Moon who does like FMV like horror.
Yes.
You know Molly Moon? I love Molly Moon videos.
Because I love her videos. FMV games for him to play because so I'm the RPG player. Baron is the RTS player, and Fame is our FMV, and I'm just like, give me the games that I like, give me the games I know. And I've been looking up a lot of FMVs, and I came across her channel. I was like, this girl, she knows where it's at. But you know what's the thing? Yeah, you're gonna have to help Fame set up all these older FMVs because I think he should go back and play some of them. Yeah, you're gonna have to help him set him all this up on PC, and he don't play PC.
He don't, and it's like a whole bunch of them are like in DOS collectives too, because a lot of them were like just plugged right there. So, and Plumbers Don't Wear Ties is actually one of them. That's a little bit sexy too. It's a little bit racy.
Is it like Voyeur? Voyeur was a game where you had to watch people through windows, and you sometimes got some stuff,
It's not, I don't think it's like and completely sexy, but it shows a little skin. I think it shows like a little side boob where it's like, ooh, side
scandalous.
Oh my gosh, hiding my britches.
You know what? We're talking about side boob, and I just remembered the inappropriate scene between Abby and Owen in Last of Us 2. I was like, girl, that girl is not straight built like that. You cannot be giving me the scene of her banging Owen the raggedy bitch. I hate Owen. But you know what we're also not gonna do? And this is a mama hugger moment. I've been watching Jocelyn, who is the voice, the face actress, and Laura Bailey is the voice actress. People have been going into her she had to stop streaming because people were going into her streams like, fuck your decision as Abby, like, you're an awful person. It's like, she just is the face. She was not anything to do with that. Y'all need to chill out.
I don't even go here. Like, what? What are you doing?
Like, I want to message her and be like, girl, thank you for your performance. You were amazing. I know that's not your body. I know that's just your face, but like, thank you. Because I know you're going to, for the rest of your life, until the end of time, you are going to endure harassment. Because people
And,
are mad weird.
people are so weird about video games and so territorial. And it's so funny because we talked about the ESRB and like we talk about like someone like Jack Thompson, if you remember Jack Thompson, and he was like
Yeah.
the infamous like I fucking hate video games. This game is causing all this torment to people and it's really not. Like he was the like anti-video game lawyer back in the day. You're
Yep.
not harassing him, but you're gonna harass a voice actress or you're gonna harass a character actress for doing the lines and the parts that she was delivering. Get a life, losers. Like
Yeah.
it's you know it's all that misogynistic thing going on also as well, but like you know gamers
Yes.
are very annoying.
Yeah.
I'll just say that. I'll just say annoying.
And you know what's annoying is number 9, which is the I don't even know what this is. The Action Max.
Who is she? What year was this? Was this also during like the time
this
that
is VHS tapes.
What? Oh,
The Action Max seems really cool, but it was also cheap when you consider the cost of the consoles at the time. It's also the first console to have completely live action games as a console, and was really just a peripheral for your television and VCR. These games themselves were VHS tapes. So, okay. You know what? I don't know if I consider this a console.
Yeah, does that count? I think this is one of those where if you squint, because then like would plug and play things count as video game consoles if we're doing this, you know?
Because I mean, Blue Thunder, Sonic Fury, yeah, you can watch these without these being on. Yeah, this Action Max, you're not a console.
That's like calling Netflix a console because of Bandersnatch in the Man vs. Wild game, you know? Like,
but you know what? They got Oxenfree too, so. You know what? That's not a console. It's a platform.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right, we're moving on from
the Dangos.
I won. You know what? I have a special place in my heart for this because the Zelda games, the 2 unauthorized Zelda games, and then the 2 authorized and then the 1 unauthorized that was just a mess. The Philips CDI is a goddamn awful thing. It was supposed to be used as a projection machine in boardrooms and stuff, and then the original it didn't come with that controller. It came with like a remote controller. It was not a console, and then they kind of used it as it, and then it failed horribly because Nintendo gave them the rights to make 2 Zelda games technically, and then they made a 3rd one which was unauthorized. And if you ever see those Zelda cutscenes on TikTok, it's like, I won, or the Dangos, or like Impa and all that.
Can we just have that in the background, honestly, while we're talking about that, please? Can you pull up some footage?
Because I want to rip my. No, we're okay.
I mean, I when I think about old YouTube, in the gaming space, like this was like primary YouTube poop. Like
this was gamer poop. Yep.
This is such good poop. I am so bored. My boy. Like
my boy.
I can do it like just by looking at this. I sure want to get some Dangos. Yeah, this seems to be I can like recite it off of my head.
I'm gonna turn off the music so you guys can hear what's going on, because if you've never seen this, it's beautiful.
A trip. It's art.
It is written only Link can defeat Ganon. Great.
Remember when I yelled out, "It's Gandalf," when we were watching Tears of the Kingdom?
How about a kiss for luck?
How about a kiss for luck?
No way.
What are all those heads?
Oh my god, I can literally recite these all day, because you would see it in YouTube poop. It was old YouTube culture, because it was so bootleg and so funny. If it wasn't This Is Spartan, it was something from these games.
But that's the thing. These were officially licensed games.
Yeah, and it's so cheesy, and the voice acting is so bad, and the movement is so weird and theatric and
You know what it
annoying.
was? What was that game?
Help!
Oh, is it
Ganon froze the fountain. I'm stuck.
Dragon something where like the cells go for like a lot of money where you would be the
It's a
if you
goal.
weren't quick
You're pretty
you would get
good.
Dragon Slayer?
murderized.
Dragon Slayer.
Dragon Slayer. This is like
Mhm.
the same
Keep
time,
going,
so
boy.
people are trying
You're
to
doing
capitalize
real
on that.
well. Once you
Mhm.
get
These-
rid of Ganon, we can get back to
These are
fishing.
wild. If you guys ever like
Dara's cave.
I'm gonna remute that and I'm gonna put on the last Zelda game. Which was the third version, which was the unauthorized one.
Was that the 2D version, right? The 2D one?
No, it
Or
was 2D, 3D.
okay,
was-
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I
See
feel
if I
like
can
you're on
find it.
shrooms watching it. Absolutely like shrooms watching it.
Oh, it was Zelda's
And
Adventure, yes. So
mhm.
it was live action.
Yeah. Like a little missed situation it tried to be like,
Yeah.
and it missed the mark,
Yeah.
honestly.
So this is the gameplay.
Oh, god damn it. It was
It
so
was
bad.
bad.
It was
I'm
so
gonna
bad.
see if I can find a
A-
cutscene somewhere in here.
And at least the other one had like charming cartoon cutscenes. This one really tried to just pull a whole mist situation and just do completely live action, but it lost a little bit of its charm. So
With a
it was
controller
just
that didn't work either, too.
yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot about the controller. The controller away.
The controller, I'm trying to find a cutscene. The controller 90% of the time did not work.
The controller didn't work. The games were bad. The hitboxes were not hitboxing. The hurt boxes were not hurt boxing.
Oh, yeah, here's a cutscene. So, like, forgive the pixelated graphics because this was also the 90s, but like these three games that we just showed you, that and then this was the most famous games of the CDI. There was also a golfing game with Eugene Levy, which was awful. Yeah, this
weird too.
These are all officially Nintendo licensed Zelda games, but they cut them from the canon. They're not part of the canon.
They were gonna go all in on this, and then they like kind of got cold feet. This is when they were like really flirting with the CD because honestly, Nintendo 64, it was on par with the PlayStation graphics wise.
Yeah, for the
graphics wise,
most part. Yeah.
but unfortunately, the cartridge was the big limited factor. So like going the CD is the thing that they needed to go to next, and so they were flirting with Sony.
Yeah.
They were flirting with Sony and they were flirting with CDI, and bad move not to do with Sony. Amazing move not to do with this.
Yeah, this is like even I've watched speedruns of this. The only way that people have described this is hot garbage.
I'm not
Like-
surprised there are speedruns of this, but Night Trap, good speedrun by the way. I forgot to say that while we're talking about Night Trap. But
That's true.
This
Yeah, this yeah, but you know what? These three Zelda games, most famous games you'll get on the CDI.
yeah. There's also
also
Mario
make you-
Hotel. Whoa. I just
yeah.
we gotta go Luigi. Like they had the deep voice Mario. That was also terrible. But yeah, there were like 5 games that were the CDI was known for, and most of them were Zelda, Eugene Levy, and Mario Hotel, and that's about it. God damn it.
If you guys don't remember, Philips was also, it's a Dutch company. They are known for their shavers. They're known for their audio equipment back in the day, their headphones. They're into healthcare. Like they're like 3M. So if you ever look at 3M, the people that make your tape, you'll see they're involved in a lot of shit, but this was just not an industry that they could break into, and they respectively after this bowed out.
And thank
But
God they
yeah.
did, because this was expensive. Again, everybody trying to be 3D
Mhm.
glasses or I'm stop motion or all of this different type of stuff. They stopped while they were ahead, and thank God, because
Yep.
some people just they need to burn to the ground before they learned their lesson, like Atari. And yeah, God.
Yeah. So we got the 3DO, Philips CDI. What's number 7? I'm thinking it's a Nintendo thing because they said Nintendo pops up more than we thought it would in this list.
What's another failed Nintendo if we're not talking? I mean, they're gonna
The-
say the Wii U again, right? They're probably gonna say the Wii U again in this one.
Maybe I'm thinking the 3DS.
3DS? Yeah.
Or yeah, whatever
Yeah.
the 3DS like 5th version was. Let's see.
Sure.
Oh, the links. I forgot about the links.
Again, if we wanted to do just failed handhelds, we can do a whole cogs on just failed handhelds. But the
Where am I
links
supposed to
is
put my hands.
it's a weird device, you know? And at least with the Game Boy, it made sense, right? Yeah, you just had that nice little thing. I don't think my Game Boy is underneath there. There's a small chance it might be
Hold on.
underneath my situation. Yeah, you have your color.
Actually, I just realized this is not a color. This is original Game Boy, but it was in a red shell.
Ah.
But yeah. Look at you can have your hands in good places, and
And it wasn't necessarily as bulky as the first version. We had the first version. The first version was a big boy. That's a smaller one.
And let's look at this where your one hand was doing to compare to today's controllers.
Yeah.
Like the controller's almost as big as the console, but
yeah.
This is also my Switch is over there, and I'm not getting up. If I'm getting up, I'm going to pee again.
Yeah, and the OG one, I need to get up to get another beer.
Go,
but the hands in good places. Oh, you want to see if I can find? I don't think I can find the OG Game Boy in time. It might be in my brother's room. I'll see.
Yeah, she's gonna go. Let her go. But the Atari, the Atari Lynx was. I mean, we were at. Hold on. Okay. Hold on. So we have. Y'all probably just heard the zippers. Switch. The Switch, detachable controllers, all that. Switch is. It is what it is. This is the OLED. So this is the Switch. And then this is the Game Boy. This is the only 2 Nintendo products I own, aside from the NES, which I got from a flea market. But look at where the button placement is compared to this. The button placement on the Lynx, that's right under your hand, which is a good thing because your hand is gonna cup the audio cone. Your hand is gonna cup it so you can. It's get louder audio, but it was also. The Atari Lynx came out, I don't know, Dallas was alive and I was not a glimmer in my father's eye yet, so I don't know when the Lynx came out, but this is different times. Like this is like one did one thing, and then we have our modern controllers. This is my Xbox controller where shit is different, and then I have the Pro controller's not that far off. My PlayStation controller's back there. Like everything looks so different because ergonomics. The Lynx does not look ergonomics. It has the option, and I'm squinting because this picture is kind of small. Restart, flip, I don't know what that means. An option 2, on and off switch. So I wonder what's on the back. The A, B, I bet you those A, B, all these buttons were tacky. There's 2 B buttons. Am I an idiot? Or there's 2 B buttons, the top and the bottom? It's A, B, B, Y? I don't know how I feel about that. Let's see. Yeah, the OG Game Boy. Come on, fame. OG Game Boy, but it's just in a red shell. Bordy's probably got hers because Bordy's a freak and got all her stuff.
The best I could do was an original Kirby's Dream Land. This was the
Where's
first video game I
Yeti?
ever beat, by the way.
Nerd.
It was the very first video game I beat by myself, I would say.
I don't even know the first game I beat.
Kirby's Dream Land.
Damn. Okay, nerd.
Do-ba-do-do-do-do-do.
J-Rock says y'all should look up the Atari Falcon 30 micro box. It's going to look very familiar. Okay, hold on. Atari, what did you say? Atari Falcon.
The Falcon
030 micro box.
Oh, it was down here. Hey. I didn't expect it to be here, nerd. Shut up.
Yeah.
I didn't expect it to be here. Man, it's kind of filthy. I need to clean this up.
These look like the old Commodore systems.
Comparisons. Here's my
Well, you know what? I got out and I brought my Switch out. So I was like,
aw.
I had to hold up the two.
Yeah, where's my Switch?
So I was like,
my Switch is somewhere. It's underneath.
I've been playing Legend of Zelda. I've been playing Breath of the Wild because I've been trying to get through it before I can justify buying any more Nintendo games at $100,000 a piece.
How many Divine Beats did you beat?
I'm on Varuta, the elephant for the Zora domain. I beat the air one.
Oh, so you the Rita. So you beat the Ritas. Yeah. You are in or Sexy Simeon. You're in the Sexy Simeon part.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I'm trying to beat the only one that is gonna be super hard is the Goron, but I've been trying to beat the Gerudo one, but I have to go get the lightning helm.
The lightning one was a bitch. What's his name? Lightning Bolt. They all have the same last name. Yeah, he's a bitch. He's the worst one for me. I realized I'm gonna have to annoy you with the restoration because I just realized that the battery things are corroded, but that's an easy fix, right? It's just peroxide or something.
Super easy, yeah.
Yeah, that's just peroxide. Oh my god, I need to restore this. This poor baby. It's been through a lot. This is an OG though. 1989.
I recently bought a game. I did a first look on Lv1Gaming.com, which you guys should, follow us for. And I have it. They gave me the key for it before it shipped. It's actually back there. One day when I pull out my whole collection, what we'll do. It worked in here and I was super impressed. But the Falcon looks like not a ZX Spectrum. It looks like the Commodore when they were getting svelte and skinty. But I can't remember what it was. But the links look so because I was telling them while you were away, the sound thing is under your hand, so like you're cupping the sound thing, which is great because you're gonna amplify the noise for yourself. But like once your hand starts to get sweaty, all the gunk is gonna build up in that audio port.
I don't know why I have this. That's disgusting. And the audio ports too are so hard to like get all the.
You can't clean them because you'll punch through the stereo.
Exactly. So that's a really disgusting.
J-Rock.
It's no wonder that it didn't work out well. It's no wonder.
J-Rock, the nerd he is, he's like, okay. He said his had the magnifying and the flashlight attachment. Did you have the camera on top of it too, baby? I bet you did.
Yeah. That's how you know you guys was spending on that money, baby. Because I never had anybody to do any type of link situation with. Even I think I've seen one person do it one time in elementary school to like transfer situations on on the Game Boy, but it was very rare and hard in between. For me, it would just be the street lights, catch the street lights when he can. It's just goddamn, especially with this the older models. I think especially 2 years is like a color it has color in it, so it's probably a very a better dot matrix one. But the original dot matrices they were very hard to see from. Hard to see. Yeah.
I'm trying to see.
In fact, yeah, mine has the contrast. Some of the older ones didn't have the contrast.
It's
The
89.
newer ones, I think. Yeah,
19
mine is 89.
I wasn't even
It says,
alive.
yeah, I was not alive either. We're young girls, honestly.
Yeah, we
This
are.
is a young
We're the
podcast.
babies of the level 1 team now. Actually,
Yeah.
no, Johnny's younger than us. Johnny's the baby.
Yeah. We're the second to babies. It says DMG 01, so I imagine this is one of the older
that's
units.
what mine did said, yeah.
But yeah, this had a contrasting and everything. I don't think some of the newer ones did because the dot matrix was better, honestly.
Yeah. But yeah, the links, I don't have any. I'm gonna move on from it because we don't have any like shit with it. And we're gonna the Commodore. Okay. Again, this was when Commodore was still trying to grasp their foothold. A lot of people still have Commodores. Commodore 64s, Commodore I can't remember the name of the other one. But there was a bunch. Commodore did a bunch of stuff, but these ones, the CD ones, are like hella rare. Because, but nobody really likes them as well because they are not 64s. So people want the original stuff. They don't want really this, but it is what it is. This was around the time of the Amiga, the ZX Spectrum.
CD technology was popping back then, so you know everybody was trying to race towards CD, and
it's $1,000 in 1991.
Oh my god, what is that worth now?
That's the price of a full PC. That's like $2,000-$3,000 now. 1991 to 2023, yeah, easy.
It said 1991, right? 1991, $1,000.
Yep.
We're just gonna say January. Fuck it. Who cares?
Yeah.
Calculate, baby. Calculate, baby. Are we not gonna calculate for me, baby? No,
because it probably doesn't even know what the fuck is going on.
We're gonna go to another one right here. Okay, this one should be better. 1991, and we're gonna put in $1,000. All right. The same item would cost $2,232.94.
Yeah. And the only thing this could do in 1991 above the competition was it was a CD player, a game console, and a computer with limitations. Because you still had to operate in the Commodore Spectrum. It wasn't, I don't think it was a DOS system at that time. Which,
of course, DOS ended up being superior. And you could play Doom on it. But you could play Doom on not everything at that point, but pretty soon you would be able to play Doom on every single.
Doom is on a pregnancy test. You can play Doom on anything.
Again, I want to be so much of a hardware nerd where I can do that. Like, let me just do it.
Same.
Again, I'm so glad he didn't call me a nerd for that point too, because I was definitely gonna twist it.
Because it's gonna be back and forth.
It is. It's gonna be who's a nerd. It's like the Spider-Man one where it's like, no, you're a nerd. You're a nerd. You. But yeah, it sucks. All this possibility that's into it. Of course, it costs about as much as a PC with a gaming functionality would nowadays, because about 2,000, you know, that's a pretty good computer. But
even
again,
then, that's more expensive than some DOS systems.
Yes, it's the ability is not the it girl, right?
Yeah.
So
you were sad. It was an Apple system. You were buying specifically for the name because you were comfortable with Commodore. You were comfortable with their stuff, but look, they've already gone into the QWERTY keyboard, so they've already abandoned what they were doing. Famous, have we seen the assembling the ultimate Game Boy on YouTube? Yes. That shit had so many accessories. Why did Nintendo shit all those out? But also, we talked about the Labo. D says,
wait, I have not seen that. I need to add that to the list.
You do. It
sounds like the LGR.
Click,
oddware.
click. There was so much shit.
I would love that shit.
D says he used to beg his mom to turn the indoor car lights on so he could play the Game Boy at night. No, you can't. See, Morty and I are from the same era where you can't turn those indoor car lights on because you might
That's
cause a
illegal.
crash.
Yes, that's illegal. They'll pull you over for this bullshit.
Exactly. 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 You can't be turning that shit on. I can already see the top of this. The Atari Jaguar. We talked about her.
Yeah.
Oh, the
Jaguar is gonna
Nintendo
miss
64
J-Rock, you already
DB.
know.
Yes.
Oh yeah, I forgot. This isn't really a console, honestly. No,
it's a Nintendo 64 on top of their expansion. Nah, we're gonna discount that one.
Yeah, it's just an expansion device. Honestly, the
Neo
CD
Geo.
and the 32X were way more consoles than that.
Oh yeah, Neo Geo. Yeah, we've gone through that.
We got that.
TurboGrafx.
And TurboGrafx.
Okay, what's number
that.
1? Oh,
the
damn!
Wii U.
They put the Wii U at 1.
That should not be number 1. Like, it should not be number 1. There have been way worse.
Virtual Boy was. Where was the Virtual Boy?
Exactly.
11.
That's objectively Nintendo's biggest failure. At least the Wii U, like commercially, they shouldn't have done that. But let's be real here. It led through to something else, and you know, it sold units. You know, it had games.
It did. They had some good games. But you know what? We're gonna talk. So this will be the last list because we're needed somewhere else. So we're gonna have to dip soon. But the Casio. If y'all don't know, Casio at the time was the leading maker of recording media, Casio systems, not Cassiopeia as the League of Legends stuff, but they did make a console briefly before Nintendo in 84 or 5 came and rescued everybody. So they were not saying they were contributors to the crash because this came out in 83 like I'm reading from this article, but they could have been a contributor to the crash.
Yeah. Quick aside, J-Rock said the Wii U commercials we would like to play. We would like to play. They tried to they marketed the Wii would like to play was pretty cool, right? The Wii would like to play and everybody but then they appealed way too much to kids. They tried too much to harp back on the casuals, and it didn't really work out.
Chocolate and I went through that, and we said the Wii was like a family console, leaning more towards the old middle class, older, and like children to get the grandparents playing with the kids. And then the Wii U was like a weird thing, but then the Switch marketing was like exclusively millennials. Like, yeah, you're busy, millennial on the go. Here's this console, and it was weird.
Interesting,
really weird.
Like, hey, cool kid, would you like to play a system while you're working type situation?
It wasn't even that. It was just like, you have your friends, you're going out to the bar for a drink, and you want to go play like some Mario. Like we can go over that, but it's like their marketing was like, it was weird because we had expected Nintendo to be like super family friendly, but like no kids until I think 2019 were in the Switch advertising, but it was all like people our age that were in there. It's like, this is weird, but also cool because they had to shake off the I'm a kid friendly console because Bayonetta came in and said motherfucker in the first 20 minutes of her game, so they had to like, oh, we're not super kid friendly all the time, you know.
Which is crazy because they still only have like I think 5 M-rated titles to their name, and Bayonetta is now one of the few, right?
Really?
Yeah, it's like
first parties.
Yeah, first party games, first party published games. It's like that, Eternal Darkness.
Eternal Darkness. Yeah.
Damn, what else is there? There's like 5 M-rated games. I forget one.
We're gonna look this up. Nintendo M-rated games.
It's gonna.
Oh, M-rated Switch games.
Party. No.
Oh, I should say first party. Nintendo M-rated. First party.
Damn, what are the other ones? First party, not best ones.
Let's just go to
Yes,
the M-rated
this is
and see what's.
yeah, GoldenEye,
Oh,
GoldenEye was one of them too. GoldenEye was one of them. A lot of them were
yes.
Nintendo 64 ones.
Diablo, Divinity, Bayonetta, The Witcher, no. Bioshock, no. Nope. Dust, no. No.
No, Inside, no, doesn't count. That's M-rated Inside?
Yes, because it has disturbing themes throughout it.
Oh, okay.
Damn, I think you're right. Bayonetta may be the only, like, first-party hypersexual game that they have.
Yeah. Conkers?
Oh,
Right,
yeah.
no, because Rare was underneath them. Was Rare second party or first party?
At the time, Rare was first party, but now they might be second party. Or third party.
So Perfect Dark, would that count too?
Perfect Dark. Yes, Perfect Dark,
Yeah.
yep. Perfect Dark, GoldenEye, Conkers, Bayonetta.
Yeah, most of them were on the N64. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Eternal Darkness. That might be it.
Eternal
That might be the
Darkness.
list.
No,
That might be the
Eternal
list.
Darkness and Bayonetta are the most recent. Bayonetta was the second game, which was 2015, I think, and Eternal Darkness was early 90s.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, no, that might be it. Cause no, Ninja Gaiden does not count. Conkers does. Bayonetta does. Well, yeah, those are the 5. We named it all, guys. We named them all.
Yep.
And No More Heroes does not count because that is by Atlas. Oh, Suda. I'm sorry, that's by Suda. But yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah,
okay.
Casio made a console.
And Casio, shout out to the calculators. That's where I played Doom on. Boom, on my Casio calculator.
Nerd. Oh God, what is that? That is the Viewmaster Interactive Vision, released in '88 by Ideal Group.
Viewmaster had a whole console? Wow, that's kind of crazy to me.
They made the Action Max with the VHS tapes.
Oh yeah, the little viewfinder and everything.
They specialized in toys for disabled children. Okay.
Oh, that's actually pretty cool. Cause again, I talked about this a couple of CODs ago, but there's not enough of for however much we're coming to accessibility game, especially with consoles and controllers. There's not enough of a movement to make sure that disabled people are actually getting the needs that they want, because for however economically good, it's in my lap, it's not good if you don't have access to one finger. It's not good if you have like joint pain and etc. So yeah, that's really cool that they did that.
Damn, okay. Pop your pussies out. Too bad you went under.
Yeah. We'll always have the memories.
The fun tech. I feel like these are Walmart consoles.
Right, exactly. Super 8can. First of all, that's an awful name, right?
Oh, they had the Motorola chips.
Okay, yeah. Cool. Which, I'm surprised it didn't get their own fair amount of just like, if anything, homebrewed hack support,
Let's see. Yeah, they were at the time PlayStation had come out, so they were rocking the 2D. As far as failures goes, this is one of the biggest, but also one of the least documented. The story goes that the manufacturer Funtech lost over $6 million before they pulled this console from the market only a year after its launch. Oh my God. 12 games were released for the system.
And it's funny because if they were more than 16-bit, it's not even to say like things like the 3DO or the Jaguar were actually like full 16-bit, but they used that Motorola chip. So if they just, bumped it up just a little bit, they could have actually got some ports,
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
And all these, they still use the same buttons. Let's see. The Y should be yellow. The B, yeah, all the colors are off. I almost said the numbers.
Hey, yo, at least they're not doing whatever the fuck the Jaguar did. Because what the fuck? Like, you already had standardized controllers, and you did that shit? Like, ugh, anyway.
Oh, this is a cassette system. I can already tell. Nope, not gonna say that. Cassette Vision console was particularly interesting, and that it was one of the very first home consoles designed and manufactured in Japan, well before the Sega and Nintendo. It was released in 1981 and competed with the 2600, and was launched there, but lacked its big name titles of its American rivals, with most of its 11 games being made up of clones of popular arcades. Oh, I feel bad.
I mean,
and I bet you,
okay.
This is a dead system now because those cassettes are probably stretched to all hell or degraded by now. 81.
Oh, absolutely.
So that was
absolutely.
50 years ago?
Kids used to tear those things up. I think I might have been one of them, honestly.
I was.
But yeah, Epoch, which is fun to say. Epoch. Boulder Dash, that's a thing. I know the name of that. Yeah. But I don't think a lot of these games. This is when there were so many consoles that were out. It was kind of like plug and play devices back then. Video game consoles were. I don't see a lot of them as consoles. Like Nintendo's first console was also a plug and play device, and I don't consider that like an Atari. Yes, I guess because this has cartridges, sure. Cassettes. I'm sorry, but we're squinting here. We're squinting, in my opinion.
Jeeves also said Nintendo itself has only published 4 M-rated console exclusives, excluding ports: Conker's Bad Fur Day, Eternal Darkness, Bayonetta 2, and something else he can't remember.
We named it.
Yeah,
we named it.
The Bandai Pladia. So
I didn't know.
Oh, this was in 94. Okay. Oh, what is that color combo? Purple and green. Oh, baby, no.
I don't like the green, but I do like the yellow button.
But of course you do.
What do you mean?
Nothing.
What does that mean?
Niet.
And what does that mean? I know I'd like to have a discussion. Go on.
That green looks like I licked the bottom of a pool green, so.
Are you calling me a pool licker?
No, you're calling yourself a pool licker because you jumped on that bandwagon.
I might lick the wet, but not the pool. No, I'm just kidding. So Bandai Pladia. So,
looks like an IR controller too.
That's a weird controller, and there's only one. I wonder if they daisy chained it, because that was a problem with the 3DO, right? You have to daisy chain and connect the other one to the other one.
I don't think they were that far ahead.
You're right. I'm giving it too much credit.
Look at that's an IR where nobody be blocking, nobody walk in front of this controller. I'm losing shit. So I don't think they were that far ahead with this IR tech.
Oh my god.
It had over 30 games, but was only available for 2 years. Okay.
What could have been? Bandai is actually a pretty good company when it comes to things, and it has a lot of good entities too. So, having Hello Kitty, Dragon Ball Z, Sailor Moon, that's cool.
Okay, you have to start with Hello Kitty.
Hey, I don't remember ever seeing a Hello Kitty game. Honestly, I don't remember a single Hello Kitty.
The Wii has a shit ton of shovelware, so it's probably on there.
Yeah, you're honestly right.
This looks like. So this is the VTech Creative Vision. You know what this looks like? The ColecoVision.
Yes, the ColecoVision where you slide the cards in to like show the number pad. Yeah, Lord bless early video games. No one really knew what the fuck to do with controllers at all, huh?
No.
Barney.
No, we really didn't. It's ugly. It's cute.
I do say something about the 70s, even though I like the color scheme. Something's really nostalgic about the wood grain on black situation.
Right.
You know?
That wood grain, like, it put a whole charcuterie board in there.
You know? That's a whole good charcuterie board right there on display.
So a lot of these are, the only one that's been above the 90s was the Barney system. All of these have been, before the 90s.
And I don't think these counted. There were a lot of like consoles just fucking trying, and that's why honestly this is a whole video game crash right here. Honestly, this is videogamecrash.org. All these games.
I mean, look at that control. That's a trigger controller with a dial that you probably had to look on screen. What the hell?
So you had to play like this.
Yeah, you were like, and let me turn this. Oh my god, no.
You know what's funny? It looks like when the two bitches that are fighting and the guy who's like ripping them off.
Somebody get this woman. And Dawn, you're not right. It is Station Wagon consoles.
It is Station. That is funny. Volkswagen console extraordinaire.
You know what we're gonna do? We're gonna wrap this up, y'all, because I know we can literally go on because the last 10 consoles we just went through. Oops, I just smacked my phone at the bottom of my mic. I've never heard of these Bally computer system, the APF. I've never heard of those, so we're not gonna have much to say on those. But don't forget,
Bally like that.
I thought it was the Bally body. The MLM that was here a couple of years ago.
Yeah. So, and they own they own sports networks now too. So like, they're actually
you
like
get people in your cult. Yeah,
they're cult.
It's a cult. Once you get into MLM, like LuLaRoe, once you get into there,
Ooh, Mary Kay, all of that. Shoot, Amtrak, Amway,
Avon, all of them. Yeah, it's bad.
The cult is
but
strong.
You guys, if you're part of that, we were not dissing you. We just want your love and affection for video games. But we're gonna
ride that Cadillac to peace. Whatever.
Yeah, Bordy already ate. I need to go eat because I'm hungry as a motherfucker. You guys know me. I'm the floor hugger. Tomorrow we will be talking about this ABK deal that you guys have been trying to get us to talk about, which we will not talk about because I'm gonna be grandpa. I'm tired of this shit. Okay.
That's too damn bad, says Fame.
That is Fame. Every time he's like,
No, he's happy now. He's like fluffing up his hair. He's like,
what hair?
He's hot stuff. I didn't say it, Fame. I didn't say it. I said it. You like her.
I said it, and I'll say it again to his face. What hair, Fame? You ain't got no hair.
I'll fucking do it again.
I'll do it again. I'll do it again, Grandpa. But I'm the floor hugger. You guys know where to find me. I will be on tomorrow. Thursday is when Take Two might happen, but we've been a little scheduling conflict, so don't worry about that. Sunday is StarCrest Gamers usually, but I don't know where Johnny's been. Probably been working hard like he is. Monday, 15 Minutes of Fame. Next Tuesday, we won't be here for Cogs. We're bi-weekly, so you can enjoy that. But 2XP is every week, and stay tuned for like Baron has been playing what's that game? Final Fantasy 16 Heavy. So he's been giving tips, guides, and all that stuff. Stay tuned for our TikTok. Yep.
He also does the weekly things in gaming. Also, too, Marin's doing that series, so check it out.
He's been doing that. He put his whole charcuterie board into there. Yeah, he really did. But
like charcuterie boards.
The Natussi.
The Natussi. Oh man, we got to dive deep into that Natussi. I want that Nintendo wet, please.
Okay, speaking of Nintendo wet and Natussi, my co-host, the woman that gets me into so much trouble, Bordy. Where can people find you and what you got for this week?
Don, I don't know about that because I have to teach the damn kids. But I will as soon as I can, guys. Like I really hate the fact when I found out that it was gonna be during double XP. If I'm not available to talk in double XP, the least I'm gonna do is troll, and it's harder for
She
me to
does.
even troll. It's harder for me to even troll. I can't even drop whole tactics books in there. It's so crazy. Like I hate it.
Yeah,
Uh
motherfucker. Okay.
I love making y'all laugh, like, especially this one right here.
I don't know what you're
Uh,
talking about.
nah, you do. My name is Bordy McBoard. Guys, you can see me on, Twitch whenever I actually decide to go live. Now life is slowed down at least a little bit for me, so maybe you might see me go live eventually
Better.
this week.
Mm.
Oh, wow, are you threatening me? Wow, that's
No, no,
crazy.
never.
Wait, now that sounded a little bit like you
No,
were trying to okay, alright.
never.
See, this
No.
is what she says this in public, and then, like, in a couple minutes from now, she's gonna be threatening me for real, guys. It's gonna be a lot.
Damn.
Hey, we already had discussions about what's happening in RP. But you can now find me on Twitch under Bordy McBoard, BOREDYMCBORED. I'm gonna go say hi right now in the chat because it's spelled like that. There's also a thing to my YouTube channel. If you go ahead and click on those three little dots, that's my YouTube channel. I actually beat Resident Evil 4 and it's a Let's Play. I have the first part uploaded. I just need to make a thumbnail. So that's gonna be
Come on.
dropping hopefully next week. Because I didn't play through Let's Play through that whole thing and stop playing it just for Let's Play for nothing. So that's Bordy McBoard. You can also find me on Instagram under that same name. And then Bordy_McBoard on the hell site that is Twitter. Fuck Elon
Ugh.
Musk, but he's not gonna take my crack pipe away from me, okay? Not from my cold hands, all right?
Damn.
That's my crack pipe,
Damn.
man. I just got into some more crack that I'm about to smoke up with a hugger. But
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
guys, that's where you can see me when I'm not being around the bad influence that is this person over here.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Not bad influence, you know.
But yes, see us tomorrow, 2XP. Make sure you guys go drink some water, drink some alcohol, because it is a Tuesday, and just enjoy life and enjoy being friends with each other and enjoy that there's video games coming out, so we shouldn't be complaining about consoles, even though Nintendo or Sony's being petty. But we're just gonna move on from that. We're gonna talk so much petty shit tomorrow, which I'm probably gonna zone out halfway through. So we're going to enjoy things. I love you guys. This is
Tired of this,
Hugger.
Grandpa.
This is Bordy. We'll see you guys in not next week, but a week from now. No, not a week from now. 2 weeks from now. We love you. I need to go eat. I need to go be sexy. I need to go do some other shit. But I love you
That's
guys.
all the time.
Bye, guys. Shut the fuck up.